Into. Yeah. Just as I scan tools. It just says, like, it ain't got a gun. It just says, good morning, guys. Good morning, guys. It is the last day of 2023. And I want us to do a bit of recap, man. I want you guys to tell me what is that one story that really caught your attention in 2023, guys.
Good afternoon. Several developing stories this afternoon, including issues around the BRICS summit and the Senzo Miwa murder trial. But you would have seen the statement this morning by the South African Reserve Bank, in which they say they cannot conclude that President Cyril Ramaphosa or the close corporation which owns his farm broke the law during the Pala transaction. Ramaphosa being accused of taking US dollars illegally in cash from a Sudanese businessman who said he was buying buffalo from the president. The Reserve Bank says the transaction was not, to use its word, perfected, which appears to mean the transaction was not completed. The buffalo did not actually leave the farm. As far as we know, they're still on Pala. Ramaphosa, denying wrongdoing, is already being cleared by the acting public protector, Koleka. Dr. Dion George is the Federal Finance Chair and the Shadow Minister of Finance for the Democratic Alliance. Dr. George, good afternoon to you. So, a very tightly worded statement by the Reserve Bank. They say the President had no legal entitlement to the foreign currency. The transaction was not perfected. How do you read it?
Yes, they've taken a very narrow view. I mean, they're saying that this transaction did not get completed, therefore he was not entitled to have the money, and therefore they can't find him in contravention of the exchange control regulations. Now, they are ignoring a very big part of the story, and that very big part is the apparent fact that there was dollar currency, real dollar currency notes, hidden in furniture for an extended period of time, and that most likely was exceeding the legal limits, for how long you can hold on to foreign currency. So they do need to actually say something about that. The governor did, in fact, write me a letter. I received it this morning, basically saying that he would be appearing before our Finance Committee on the 30th of August. And that, then we could put some questions. And in the meantime, we'd be issuing a press release, which was issued. But that was very, frankly, it was obtuse. So what we want from the DA, certainly, is we want some more information as to how far was that investigation. So did they not take into consideration the fact that there were these dollars and that they were there, even though the transaction was not perfected, as they say, which is correct. But we want to know that. I have also indicated that I'm going to write to the governor. I'm going to do that and ask him for the report or a redacted copy of that report, because I do think that the South African public has a right to know whether the president has broken any of the financial laws that he needs to uphold. So it isn't adequate, and I do look forward to having the discussion with the governor on the 30th.
So it seems bizarre. So the transaction was not perfected. So if someone gave me a large amount of money in US dollars and I gave them nothing, what is that? I mean, isn't that what happened here? I've still received the money. And as I understand the law, and I'm no expert on it, but as I understand the law, if I've received foreign currency, I'm supposed to declare it, even if I've given nothing in return. If I get $500,000 US dollars as a gift, shouldn't I have to declare that?
Well, that's very much our take, is that our understanding of the law is very clear that you can't hold a large amount of foreign currency. You have to bank it, and you have to declare it. Now, I suppose even if this transaction was not completed, obviously there was a process. So money was handed over, and the money was held somewhere for an extended period. Now, nothing stopped anybody from taking the money and putting it into the bank, for example, in the meantime, until the transaction was completed, because that's what happens all the time. So that really is the very narrow focus that they've taken, and we don't think that it's adequate. But as I said, we'd like to hear more from the governor as to how they got to this actual conclusion. Because the question is then, what about? I mean, doesn't it create some kind of precedent then? Because you've got thousands of potential transactions that have this. There's money paid, and then subsequently there is in fact the perfection. Now, if you're saying, well, it's perfectly fine to hold on to this money for an extended period or whatever, that's not acceptable. And I don't think that is practice. And that's the question that I'm going to be asking to the governor.
There's so many issues here. I mean, it also suggests that there's the whole way that this has been managed, because this investigation took over a year. So they took over a year to issue us really one paragraph. I mean, I realize the Reserve Bank might well say it's exceptional that they issued that one paragraph, and to be fair, in my experience, I've never heard them actually talk about any investigation publicly, apart from investigations into failed banks. But I mean, still, a year and one paragraph.
Yes, I do think that the Reserve Bank has been unusual in that they've said this much, because usually they wouldn't say anything. But I think they also get the fact that this is very much in the public interest. We are talking here about the president of our country. And also, there's heightened scrutiny on South Africa because of our grey listing. I mean, FATF grey listed us. We are considered to be an unreliable financial partner in the international financial arena. And that certainly does not bode well for our economy and our economic growth. So it would be expected that there would be heightened scrutiny, certainly in times like these, and certainly with such a high-profile politician. So I think the Reserve Bank is obviously in a difficult position because they are independent and they must remain that way, and we must protect their independence. But they do have an obligation to make sure that financial laws are not broken. And I do think that what they've said here has thrown up lots of questions. Maybe there was no other way to do it, but I do think that the governor has quite a bit of explaining to do when he sees our committee. And as I said, we have every intention of asking him to explain a bit further, specifically about holding that money, because that doesn't seem to be in dispute.
So, as you say, the investigation report itself is secret. We just see the one paragraph. Do you believe there may be a case, there may be legal grounds for a PAJA application, a Promotion of Access to Justice Act application, in other words, to write to the governor to say, we're not asking, we're demanding to see this?
That is a likely course of action of ours, because if you look, for example, at SARS, now we accept the fact that the relationship between the taxpayer and SARS is secret, and there's very good reasons for that, etc. The Reserve Bank is a different situation. It has a different mandate, and also this fact that money did cross the border, it is their job to make sure that we don't have illicit financial flows. So I do think that there would be a case for more transparency on it. And we're certainly firstly going to ask for it, even if we get a redacted version that's sensible. And then if that fails, then we will most likely pursue whatever legal options there are. Because we do think we need transparency in this instance. It's very important for South Africa.
Sorry to interrupt you. There's been a series of investigations into Phala Phala. We're talking now about the Reserve Bank. There was a SARS investigation. Edward Kieswetter, the SARS commissioner, said that Ramaphosa was fully tax compliant, would say no more, just say that he's fully tax compliant. We've had the Hawks, they're still investigating, and then we've had the public protector, currently the acting public protector, Advocate Kgaleka. She conducted an investigation. She also found that Ramaphosa had done nothing wrong. And yet, I'm sure you will remember, Dr. George, in 2017, the huge fuss there was when it emerged that President Jacob Zuma, as he then was, appeared to have had a second salary at the time, a second income from a security company. Here we have Ramaphosa receiving money, possibly for a sale, possibly for nothing, possibly for an imperfect transaction. And it seems that, on the face of it, dare I use the phrase, he's getting away with it.
Yes, on the face of it, certainly looks as if there's a much lighter touch going on here. And that is not acceptable. Now, of course, the Reserve Bank is independent and we certainly don't want to cast any aspersions on them. But also one of the questions I'm going to be asking is that we would really want to take for as given that there was no political consideration in this investigation. It is unlikely so, but we'd want to have that certainty. It is a very serious situation, and it does require very serious investigation. It's taken a year, as you said, and virtually, well, frankly, nothing's come out of it except a technical explanation. So that does certainly throw up a red flag. And we do need to make sure that we get to the bottom of these questions. It's very, very important, as I said. We need to get off the grey list as soon as possible, and this is not the way to do it. It looks like something is being hidden, and that is not conducive to a transparent financial environment that we need.
Dr. Dion George, thank you, the Shadow Minister of Finance for the Democratic Alliance. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if there are more developments around Phala Phala. Let's wait and see.
Let's wait and see. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Thomas Reacts here on the 360 Experience with myself, Thomas Mabaso. Guys, it is the last year of 2023, and I want us to do a bit of a recap, man. I want you guys to tell me the stories that really caught your attention in 2023, because I've prepared a few stories. But today, I really wanted to hear from you guys. I want you guys to
thank you so much for your time. And of course, this particular report,
I want you guys to tell me the stories that really caught your attention in 2023. What is that one story that you said, okay, this story caught my attention in 2023? Guys, I've left a WhatsApp line on the live chat. I've left a WhatsApp line on the live chat. Guys, please make sure that you send those WhatsApps. Please make sure that you send me the voice notes, guys. I would really appreciate it if you could send me the voice notes and actually tell me what is it that really caught your attention in 2023. For me, the one story that really caught my attention, man, the number one story, honestly, it has to be Phala Phala, man. You see Phala Phala. Phala Phala, it's one story that really it's really fascinating. It's really fascinating. You see, when you look at that thing of Phala Phala and you look at the rand manipulation scandal, man, those scandal really shows you how deep corruption is in South Africa, man. And we are going into 2024. People are going to be expected to vote in a couple of months. And again, guys, so which political party are you going to vote for? Are you going to vote for the Democratic Alliance? Are you going to vote for the ANC? Are you going to vote for the EFF? Please, guys, please tell me, which political party are you going to vote for, and why are you going to vote for that political party, man? I think right now, the whole thing of saying that your vote is your secret, I think it does not cut it anymore right now. I think right now people need to start talking about the political parties they're going to vote for and why they're going to vote for those political parties, man. We need to do what is best for all of us to make proper decisions in 2029. So this is the reason why I'm saying that maybe as people, it's about time we start being open about the political parties that we want to vote for. I can see KG 8, he says, the story of Mkunu comment about Malema caught my attention. Man, that story really caught my attention too. Because what Ngizo Mkunu said about Julius Malema, man, it is really painful to hear a black person say that about another black person. But again, this is an underlying issue that people have been avoiding for such a long time. Because when you look at political parties like the EFF and the ANC and the new political parties like the Areta, that party of Isma Khashule, man, these people, man, they will never talk about tribalism. They will never talk about the hate that black people have towards each other, man. They will never talk about that. They are so comfortable talking about racism. They are comfortable talking about discrimination, but they don't talk about tribalism. So I think in Ngizo Mkunu saying that, as much as it was painful, for a lack of a better word, it really highlighted the problem that really was underlying, the problem that was hiding all of the time. Because people, for some reason, man, especially when you listen to some of these people, especially coming from the EFF and the ANC and the what, you would swear that if we get rid of all white people in the country, if we get rid of all the Indians, if we get rid of all the Muslims and all people besides and leave the country only to black people, man, you would swear that everything will go fine. South Africans will live in harmony. People will love each other. But that is false. That is false. Because once you start getting rid of these people, man, the people that are going to be left in the country, they are going to hate each other. And it is not going to be a new thing. It is not going to be a new thing. Just like this whole thing, it is not a new thing to me. Because I've said it a couple of times that I've seen this whole thing a lot of times. I've seen people online attacking other people because they are the Tongas. I've seen people are attacking other black people because they are the Pedis and all. Like this whole thing, it is not new. It is there. It is just that because today in South Africa, I mean, we live in such an unfortunate country that we don't have the leaders, man, who actually want to address these issues that are really underlying. You see this whole thing of tribalism, man. The whole thing of tribalism, man, is like an evil animal lying down, waiting for everybody to get tired of racism, to get tired of discrimination, so that it can raise up its head. And before you even know it, man, people will be killing each other, man. I've heard a voice note, I think last week, my auntie, I think last week, my aunt sent me a voice note. And on that voice note, I think that whole thing happened in Northwest, where right now, the Sotho people, it seems like there's a tension between the Sotho people and the Xhosas there in the West, in the Northern Cape, or I think is in the Northern Cape, or in like somewhere there. I think there's a tension right now as we speak between the Xhosas and the Sotho people, man. And allegedly, few people have already been killed in the whole thing. So right now, people are being alerted to be very careful, especially even us here in the First Statement. We're being told to be, guys, be very careful because of this whole thing that is happening in the Northwest, because there's a whole possibility that the whole thing, it might spew into other provinces. So this whole thing of Ngizwe Mqunu saying whatever that he said about Julius Malema, I mean, I think it is one thing that politicians are not addressing because it does not favor their narrative. You need to understand that the politicians don't address these things because they don't fit the narrative. Politicians will always address the issues that they feel that, okay, this issue, it feeds my narrative. This issue, it's actually going to benefit me in a long time. That's why issues like tribalism, that's why the issues like racism from black people to other people, man, they will never talk about these issues because these issues, they don't favor their narratives. So I think Ngizwe Mqunu saying that, man, as much as it was painful, as much as it was disgusting, it was necessary. Someone had to do it for us to have this conversation about the hate that black people have towards each other, and this hate that is not being discussed. So thank you so much, Mr. KG Moeti. And I can see Nina saying the same. Like, Nina is also saying that the story of Julius Malema and Ngizwe Mqunu, and what Ngizwe Mqunu said about Julius Malema, man, it is one story that really caught her attention. Guys, please make sure that you send those voice notes. I've left a WhatsApp line on the live chat. And guys, also don't be shy to send in those comments. Don't be shy to tell me what you think. Don't be shy. Today, it is not an average or a regular show. Today, it is a show for you guys. I want you guys to participate in this show. That's why I spend so much time not talking. I don't want to talk the whole episode today. I want you guys to send the voice notes. I want you guys to send me the messages and actually tell me what is it exactly that really caught your attention in 2023. For me, like I said, guys, before, the story of Palapala, man, the story of Palapala, it was really amazing to see how the president really navigated throughout the whole nonsense. You remember the story broke out when that guy, I think it's Arthur Fraser, when he went to police station to actually lay criminal charges against the President Ramaphosa. One of the charges that Arthur Fraser was speaking about was extortion. He was speaking about kidnapping, and he was also speaking, man. According to Arthur Fraser, man, there was a break-in in President Ramaphosa's farm, and a lot of money in foreign currency was stolen in President Ramaphosa's farm. You remember the whole country, man, was outraged, saying that how can the president hide the dollars in his mattress and in his sofas, man. And people started questioning President Ramaphosa about the Palapala thing, about what is it exactly that you, President, or what is the whole story about your farm and about this money that was stolen from you. President Ramaphosa went out and started saying that the money that was stolen on his farm it is the money that he got from this Sudanese billionaire Hazem Mustafa, and Hazim Mustafa allegedly bought Buffalo from President Ramaphosa. And this is the reason why President Ramaphosa had this money. South African Revenue Services came out with a statement saying that transaction between President Ramaphosa and Hazim Mustafa, man, there was nothing legal about that whole thing. If you remember, Busisiwe Mkhwebane at the time, she was still the public protector. And you know that Busisiwe Mkhwebane, man, has no love for President Ramaphosa. So one of the first things that Busisiwe Mkhwebane said is that I'm going to investigate. I'm really going to look at what is really happening in Parliament. And you know how President Ramaphosa is like. Busisiwe Mkhwebane started running her mouth, saying that, okay, I want to investigate the president. And the president was like, no, I'm not Jacob Zuma. You are not going to investigate me, man. I'm going to kick you out. And President Ramaphosa kicked Busisiwe Mkhwebane out. President Ramaphosa, the ANC, and the Democratic Alliance, they worked together to kick out Busisiwe Mkhwebane in the office. But the whole story, it took a very interesting turn, because soon after that, a public protector, an acting public protector, Galeka, was appointed. And the only job for this woman, was to come and actually exonerate the president from all the charges. You remember the first thing that Koleka Galeka, who is now our current public protector, when she was still an acting public protector, she came out, and one of the first things she said is that the president is innocent. There's nothing wrong that the President Ramaphosa has done. There's absolutely nothing wrong that President Ramaphosa has done, man. I saw from there that, okay, man, this lady is compromised. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. If you remember, guys, the money that was found under President Ramaphosa's sofas, man, some people will never touch that money in their whole lives. Some people, man, have been working for 30, 40 years. They will never get that kind of a money. But that money was laying there at President Ramaphosa's farm. So the questions came, especially to me, like, how did that money get to President Ramaphosa's farm? And why is the president doing his deals in cash? Why is the president not doing his dealings, man? You know, like normal people would do. But the president, man, he's exchanging millions and millions of cash with these billionaires from all over the world. And people said that, man, President Ramaphosa, whether you like it or not, this whole thing sounds like money laundering, man. Whether you like it or not, this whole thing, it sounds like money laundering, man. That's when we saw parties like ATM, you remember, they really went hard after this whole thing of Pala, man. And until the whole thing went to South African Reserve Bank, and the South African Reserve Bank did their investigations. They came out with a report, and they told South Africans that, man, we are not going to release the whole report. We are not going to release the whole report. We are only going to give you a fraction of the findings of our investigation. What we, as the South African Reserve Bank, found is that there was no perfected transaction between President Ramaphosa and this Hazim Mustafa guy. So now people are confused, because the South African Revenue Services came out and said that everything was above board between President Ramaphosa and this is Hazim Mustafa guy. Public protector came out and said that everything was above board between President Ramaphosa and this Hazim Mustafa guy. But right now, the South African Reserve Bank is coming out and telling South Africans that, man, there was no perfected transaction between the President Ramaphosa and this Hazim Mustafa guy. So we can't really actually conclude whether that money is the proceedings of money laundering or what. So that scandal, man, it really caught my attention because of how everything happened, man. You saw when President Ramaphosa got rid of Busisiwe Mkhwebane live in front of everybody. Live in front of everybody, man. The only crime of Busisiwe Mkhwebane, the only crime that Busisiwe Mkhwebane committed in this whole thing, was to say that he's going to investigate the president. The president was fine with Busisiwe Mkhwebane doing the silly cases, getting the reports from there and then. But as soon as Busisiwe Mkhwebane said, man, I'm going to look into you, man, as the president of the country, President Ramaphosa was like, no, I'm not going to have that. I am not going to have that, man. He did not even wait for Busisiwe Mkhwebane to do nothing, man. Before you know it, Busisiwe Mkhwebane, man, was struck in parliament, and the DA and the Democratic Alliance and the DA and the ANC, they got rid of Busisiwe Mkhwebane. The whole thing is funny because, man, South African politics, and that's why sometimes other people look at South African politics as entertainment, man. Some things are funny. The same Democratic Alliance that worked hand in hand with African National Congress of Ramaphosa to get rid of Busisiwe Mkhwebane. The same, the Democratic Alliance came back and said that, man, we cannot vote for this Galeka person that the president has appointed. So my question was like, man, what is it exactly that the Democratic Alliance was expecting? The DA, of course, they wanted Busisiwe Mkhwebane to be out of the office. The DA hated Busisiwe Mkhwebane. Of course, they want her out, and they worked with Ramaphosa. But what is it exactly did the DA thought was going to happen? Did they think that Ramaphosa was now going to appoint someone who has character, someone who has credibility, someone who actually wants to work hard for the people of South Africa? Man, for the mere fact that the president got rid of the public protector because the public protector wanted to investigate him, man, that was a red flag. That was the red flag. Then it was a red flag. But the Democratic Alliance, they went on, they continued to work with the President Ramaphosa, man. They continued. They worked with President Ramaphosa to make sure that Busisiwe Mkhwebane is out of the office. And now that Busisiwe Mkhwebane is out of the office, they are not happy about the person that Ramaphosa has appointed to replace Busisiwe Mkhwebane. Why? Because this person came out and the first thing that she said is that President Ramaphosa is innocent. So the Democratic Alliance knew right then that, okay, this person is compromised. There's no way we're going to allow this person to be our president. There's no way. There's absolutely no way we're going to allow this person to be our public protector. I mean, this person is compromised. The first thing that she came out and said is that the president is innocent. And the Democratic Alliance, I think for some reason, I mean, they expected this person that the president appointed as the acting public protector to now come out and say, man, I know that Busisiwe Mkhwebane had her own issues with the president, but now I'm still going to look into Palapala because Palapala is suspicious as hell. Everybody knows Palapala is suspicious, man. Even the people in the neighborhoods, they will tell you that there's something suspicious about the president, man, conducting his deals, exchanging cash with these businessmen all over the world, man. There's something suspicious there. This needs to be investigated. The Democratic Alliance honestly thought that the person that the president was going to appoint is someone with integrity, someone who was still going to look into Palapala. Because as much as the Democratic Alliance worked with President Ramaphosa, that doesn't mean that now the Democratic Alliance liked or loved President Ramaphosa. I mean, they still want to get rid of him. After all, his African National Congress, they still want to get rid of him. Very interesting. So my question is like, what did the Democratic Alliance think it was going to happen? What did you think? What did you guys think it was going to happen? Did you think Ramaphosa was going to appoint someone with integrity? No, he was not. He was not. Right now, the person that was appointed as the public protector of South Africa, man, you know that as long as President Ramaphosa is the president, this person is going to be there defending him. Defending him. You know, with the Zuma people knew that, okay, we knew that the parliament was going to defend Jacob Zuma because parliament was full of those incompetent ANC grannies and grandfathers. But at least we had Thuli Madonsela as the public protector, and we know that Thuli Madonsela does not play around with Jacob Zuma. At least people knew that, of course, the parliament is going to protect Jacob Zuma. You know, the ANC parliamentarians, man, like their only job is to protect the president. They don't care about what the president does. They will protect the president until a point where they cannot protect the president anymore. This is the case with the President Ramaphosa. The same thing that the ANC did to Thabo Mbeki, they did to Jacob Zuma, they are going to do it to Ramaphosa. At some point, the ANC is going to be like, no, man, we are sick and tired of defending this guy. Let them kick him out. Let them kick him out. And the ANC will come out and say that, man, just like they did with President Zuma, like, man, we want to fix our country. These people that have been leading our country, man, they have been breaking down our country. And this is the reason now, today we have Khumbuzo Ntshavheni as the new leader of the African National Congress. And we want this person to go out and contest for the presidency of South Africa. And this person is the best person that we can give to you, man. All of those guys that have destroyed the country, you must forget about all of them. Forget about Zuma. Forget about Ramaphosa. Now we have Khumbuzo Ntshavheni. This is the job of the ANC in parliament. The ANC in parliament, they don't care about legislations. They don't care about having the debates. They don't care about coming up with laws, regulations, and everything that is going to help the people of this country, man. The only reason why we have the ANC members of parliament right now is to protect the president. That is the only job for the ANC members.
Acting Public Protector Koleka Kaleka is taking flak for her report that clears President Cyril Ramaphosa of wrongdoing in the Palapala farm theft scandal. Kaleka says there's no evidence Ramaphosa violated the Executive Members Ethics Act and that he hasn't received extra payments beyond his salary as head of state. But opposition parties dismiss her report as a whitewash. ENCA reporter Muluku Moloto has the story.
President Cyril Ramaphosa can heave a sigh of relief, at least for now, because the acting public protector advocate Koleka Kalega found he did nothing wrong regarding the Phala scandal.
It is found that there is no basis upon which to conclude that the President contravened Clause 2.1b, D, Clause 2.3d, F and G of the Executive Ethics Code, including the period following the alleged theft of the US dollars that took place on or about 9 February 2020 from his private house at Phala Farm in Waterberg, Limpopo. Therefore, the evidence does not support the allegation that the President's financial interest in game or cattle farming at Phala Farm exposes him to any situation involving the risk of a conflict between his official responsibilities and his private interests.
Kalega also found the allegation.
You see after that statement, man, I knew this person is compromised, man, and I think the whole country knew that this person is compromised, man. There's no way you can come out and say that the president is cleared, man. The president is innocent, man. These people, they can say whatever that they want to say, but the average citizens of this country, they know that something is stinking there at the president's farm. They know. The average South Africans, they know that something is stinky. They know. So this person came out and said that the president is innocent, man. That's when everybody knew. And that's when the Democratic Alliance knew. So the question I have for the DA is that, are you guys happy that you help Ramaphosa to get rid of Busisiwe Mkhwebane? Because if you really think about it, man, as the DA, if I was in the DA, I was never going to allow, or I was never going to support this move of the Democratic Alliance working hand in hand with African National Congress to get rid of Busisiwe Mkhwebane. Why? Because Busisiwe Mkhwebane is already investigating the president, which means that Busisiwe Mkhwebane is going to find something that is going to be beneficial to us as the Democratic Alliance. So there was no need for the Democratic Alliance to actually support President Ramaphosa and the ANC in getting rid of Busisiwe Mkhwebane, because Busisiwe Mkhwebane was going to find the dead on behalf of the Democratic Alliance and everyone who wants to get rid of the African National Congress. But no, the Democratic Alliance worked with President Ramaphosa. They worked with the ANC to make sure that they kick out Busisiwe Mkhwebane. Now that Busisiwe Mkhwebane is kicked out of the public protector, them talking about Phala has no weight anymore, because there's literally no one who's going to investigate that. The person who was appointed as the acting public protector, man, the first thing that she said when she came out is that the president is innocent. So the Democratic Alliance, they knew then that, okay, this case is dead, because this person that has been appointed as the new public protector came out and said that this person is innocent. So if I was in the DA, man, if I was in the DA, there's no way I was going to allow a situation where President Ramaphosa gets rid of Busisiwe Mkhwebane. I mean, Busisiwe Mkhwebane was going to work. And the findings that Busisiwe Mkhwebane was going to make, man, they were going to be beneficial for the Democratic Alliance, because we know that we are going into 2024 election. I mean, these people, they need as much debt as possible on the president. They need as much debt on everyone, so that they can have a bit of leverage going into 2024, so that they can tell the people that, guys, these are the findings of the public protector. These are the findings. These are not our findings, because we know that if we hired some maybe private investigators, you guys would have said that, okay, these private investigators are political, and this is the reason why they made these findings about the president. But they should have allowed Busisiwe Mkhwebane to continue being the public protector, because if Busisiwe Mkhwebane was the public protector, if Busisiwe Mkhwebane was still the public protector today, I'm telling you, I can guarantee you, Busisiwe Mkhwebane would have found something against Ramaphosa. And this is why Ramaphosa could not afford to have this woman as the public protector. This is why the man worked so hard to make sure that Busisiwe Mkhwebane is out of the office, man. I wish Ramaphosa can work as hard for the people of South Africa. The way he worked so hard to get rid of Busisiwe Mkhwebane, man, I wish he could put maybe a fraction of that energy, man, a fraction of that effort into helping the people of South Africa having a good life. But that is not his policy, man. You know, these people are serving the African National Congress. They don't care about saving the people of South Africa. They don't care about the people of South Africa. They only serve the African National Congress. So that was a very blunder move from the Democratic Alliance to actually go out and support President Ramaphosa with kicking out Busisiwe Mkhwebane, man. Busisiwe Mkhwebane, I know the Democratic Alliance, they don't like Busisiwe Mkhwebane, because they believe that Busisiwe Mkhwebane is affiliated with a lot of politicians that are dead. You know, the Ace Makashule, the Jacob Zumas, and all of these people, man, that actually helped the Guptas to destroy this country. You know the Democratic Alliance actually hate Busum Kobane for that, but they should have allowed Busum Kobane to continue being the public protector, because Busum Kobane, the findings that Busum Kobane would have made, man, that findings would have been terrible to President Ramaphosa. And the fact that South African Reserve Bank refused to release the full investigations, man, like, people, we still need those full investigations. The South African Reserve Bank came out and said, guys, we are only going to give you 2 lines. We are only going to give you 2 lines. There was no perfected transaction between President Ramaphosa and Hasim Mustafa. Man, that was really a blinder from the Democratic Alliance, man. I'm telling you. I can see another comment from... Hell, this name is... Man, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Asogan. Asogan says racism and tribalism and apartheid are all different forms of prejudice. Man, I completely agree with you. Man, these things are worse. When you talk about racism and when you talk about tribalism, man, these things are worse, guys. I'm telling you, these things are worse. They are worse, they are worse, they are worse. And the fact that today in South Africa, man, we have politicians who love to play the identity politics. So majority of them, they are black. So they won't talk about the tribalism. They won't talk about the hate that black people have towards other black people, man. They won't talk about the fact that you will find the Sotho people, man, calling the Xhosas Maqhotsa, like, you know, like, just to disrespect, man. You will find other people, man, calling the people from Limpopo or the Shanganis or the Kwerekweres, man. These are the kind of terms that we have for other black people. Black people have these terrible terms for other black people, but no one is saying anything about that. And the notion that the problems of South Africa can only be solved by black people, man, those whole thing, it is like, that thing is a nonsensical, it's a nonsensical notion. Very nonsensical. The problems of South Africa, man, requires everyone who lives in this country, man. People from all races, they need to come to a table and say, guys, this is our interest, but we are willing to sacrifice this for the betterment of the country, man. The Indians will come and say, guys, we have our principles as the Indians, and these are our principles, and these are our values, but we are willing to sacrifice 1, 2, 3 for the betterment of the country. The Afrikaners, they can come and say, guys, as Afrikaner speaking people, as Afrikaner speaking men, these are our interests. These are our values, but we are willing to sacrifice 1, 2, 3 for the betterment of the country, man. Everyone must come out and tell people their values and their interest and what they are willing to sacrifice for the betterment of the country, because this country will not move forward. I'm telling you, this country will not move forward as long as we have these kind of politicians that we have right now in South Africa. This country will not move forward. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee you. This country is not going to move forward. As long as you have people thinking that Indians are worse, if you think that black people are worse, are criminals, if you think that all white people are racist, guys, as long as we have these kind of people within our society, there is no way this country is going to move forward. There is nothing these people can say, there is nothing these people can do to convince me otherwise. This is why I tell the EFF guys every day that, guys, right now you are so hurt about what Ngizo Mqunu said about the EFF. You are heard about what Ngizo Mqunu said about Julius Malema. Man, you remember Ngizo Mqunu came out and said that Julius Malema must not come to KZN to do that manifesto launch in February. Julius Malema must go to Limpopo, where his ancestors are, where his ancestors will fully understand him. Julius Malema cannot do as he please in KZN, because Julius Malema has never seen Ngizo Mqunu and his men doing as they please in Limpopo. Like, guys, do you understand how disgusting this is? This is so disgusting. And right now, Ngizo Mqunu has lost a sponsorship with the JAC Motors. Why? Because he's refusing to apologize. Man, I came on this platform and I told people that, guys, Ngizo Mqunu is not going to apologize. It is not going to apologize, because what he said, those sentiments, man, he echoes the sentiments of many people around him. That's why he doesn't apologize. That's why he doesn't care about losing the sponsorship. The man doesn't care about the fact that JAC Motors says, man, you must bring back our things and let's cut our ties. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about all of that money that he's going to lose. He doesn't care. He believes in what he says, because what he said, man, it is the sentiments. Those sentiments, they echo a lot of people around him. That's why he won't apologize. And right now, the EFF supporters, they're not happy about what Ngizo Mqunu said. And I'm also not happy about what that man said, man. I can just imagine if someone comes to me and said that, Thomas, you must not come to Cape Town, because in Cape Town, we speak Afrikaners only, man. And when you are here, you need to explain yourself in Afrikaners, otherwise we cannot understand you. If you want to do a manifesto review, or if you want to do a conference, go back to the Free State and do your conference there. Do not come to Western Cape. Man, I would be frustrated and I would be mad, man. I would be on this platform each and every day for 100 days straight ranting about that thing. I would be so disgusted. And I'm also disgusted that thing was said about Julius Malema. But what can we say about Julius Malema and the EFF? Because these guys, man, they have built their own party on this. They've built their own party. Julius Malema became famous by insulting people all over the country. Now people are insulting him, and his supporters are not having it. I can see David Austin says the same guy who stole Cyril's money was caught with a few guns from Namibia on his way to Cape Town. What the hell? Man, the whole Palapala thing, man, I believe that as South Africans, man, when it comes to Palapala, man, we were only given a fraction of Palapala, man. I believe that so much more took place in that whole farm, man. We were not told everything in that whole Palapala thing. And the fact that the South African Reserve Bank came out and said that we are not giving you guys a full investigation. We are only telling you guys that there was no perfect transaction between President Ramaphosa and Hazim Mustafa. And the buffaloes that were allegedly bought by these Sudanese billionaires were never delivered. So the question comes, what the hell is that money doing at President Ramaphosa's farm? The president cannot come out and say, okay, this is my money. You can't say this is your money. South African Reserve Bank said that there was no perfect transaction between you and Hazim Mustafa, which means you are not entitled to this money that was found on your farm. It is not yours, because even the buffaloes that were bought from your farm were never delivered. So why would anyone come to South Africa to buy the buffaloes, leave the money with you, and not even care about collecting the buffaloes? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So the question comes, what the hell is that money doing at the president's farm? And who is the owner of that money? Because the president cannot come out and say that money belongs to him. That money does not belong to him. The president cannot come out and say that money belongs to him. It doesn't belong to him. It doesn't. There was no perfected transaction between him and the Mustafa guy. And the buffaloes that were allegedly bought were never delivered. So what is it exactly that is happening with the president and this Hazim Mustafa and those millions and millions of dollars that were found in his sofas? Man, the whole story of Palapala, man, this is why I say maybe, I don't know what the hell was the Democratic Alliance thinking, man, by working with the president to get rid of Busiswem Kobane. Because, man, as much as I don't like Busiswem Kobane, I knew that Busiswem Kobane doesn't like President Ramaphosa. So Busiswem Kobane was going to work day in, day out to make sure that she makes a bit of findings about the president. She was going to work so hard to make sure that, man, I have evidence to discredit this president going into 2024. Busiswem Kobane, that like she was going to do that, whether you like her or whether you don't. She was going to do that. And the fact that these people, man, work together to stop her, it makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me, man. Stopping Busiswem Kobane from investigating Palapala, man, it's like defeating the hands of justice. It's like defeating the hands of justice, man. It's like someone going to the crime scene and start altering with the crime scene. Except, man, this lady was going to find, like, man, she was going to find out what happened in Palapala. She was going to find out why, because she hated Ramaphosa. She had no reasons to actually hide the information. She had no reason to hide anything from the public, because the president already showed her that, man, I don't like you. So Busiswem Kobane had no reason. The DA worked with the ANC to get rid of Busiswem Kobane. Now we have a compromised public protector. The woman who came and the first thing that she said is that the president is innocent from Palapala. So it is your doing, the Democratic Alliance, it is your doing. Nina says no one ever mentions the pre-1994 slaughters between the tribes. Exactly, man. People, they don't talk about these things. They don't talk about these things, man. You know, Nina talking about this thing, you remind me of that story of the ANC and the IFP, man. I was not there. I was born in 92, but I read about some of these things. I read a lot about some of these things. I read about the war between the ANC and the IFP. I read about how people were killed, how black people were killed by other black people. I read about these things, man. You see in Rwanda, you can see what is happening in Rwanda, man. You remember even in Zimbabwe, man. Like, black people, man, are always killed by black people. Even if you can go to the statistics today, thousands and thousands of people in South Africa today are killed. Thousands and thousands of black people today in South Africa are killed. And majority of them, they are killed by black people. Majority of black people in this country are killing other black people. But for some reason, we have these political parties going around. For some reason, we have these political parties going around pretending that black people in this country, they love each other like nobody's business. But you look at the statistics, you look at how many black people are killing other black people in this country. And you say that, man, black people in this country, they don't love each other. Black people in this country, they don't love each other. If we really loved each other like this, man, there's no way we can go out and start killing each other like this. But we are killing each other every day. You can see right now in South Africa, I mean, we have a black government. Do you see what that black government is doing to the black people in this country? Do you see the conditions that black people are living under in South Africa today, under a black government? The only thing that these people are telling the people of South Africa, remember apartheid, you cannot vote for other political party. You must never even think about voting for the Democratic Alliance, because if you vote for the DA is going to bring apartheid back, man. You cannot even think about voting for Freedom Fund Plus, man. You know that those guys in Freedom Fund Plus, they always speak in Afrikaans. As a black man, you cannot afford to vote for someone who only speaks Afrikaans, man. You know Afrikaans is a racist language. Before you know it, the same black people, man, are voting for the same black government that is making their lives hell. So the notion that black people love other black people in this country, man, I look at the statistics, I look at the government that we have, I look at the things that people are doing to each other on the street, and I'm like, man, there's no way black people hate each other. You look at the rhetoric all over social media, man. You look at the Xhosas saying these things about the Zulu people. You look at the Zulu people saying these things about the Pedis saying these things about the Changanese, the vendors saying all of these things. Man, I'm telling you, the notion that black people, man, love this country, the black people, if all white people must, because there's this famous quote, especially from the EFF, they will tell you that white people, man, must leave. As people must leave, they must go back to Europe. This is what the EFF is saying, that the white people must leave and must leave to Europe. As if white people leave this country and go back to Europe, everything will be fine in South Africa, man. The statistics are already against the black people in this country. The statistics are already against us. They are already against us. You have political parties and politicians, man, telling people that they should hate each other, working overtime with the media, making sure that the South Africans are divided as hell. We have politicians, man, that are doing that. We have the media that is doing that. But they don't talk about the fact that this division they are pushing for goes deep. That's why today, Ngizwe Mqunu is telling Malema that, man, you come from Limpopo, do not come to KZN. You come from Limpopo, do not come to KZN. This language is not new to some of us. It's not new. We know that black people do not love each other in this country. You have a black government, man, as an example. You can see what the black government is doing to the people of South Africa. Do you think that the ANC government, majority of the ANC members are black people? Do you think those people actually love black people? They don't. They don't. And that's why they don't tell you that, man. It is so easy, man. If civil war breaks out today, man, black people are going to kill each other, man, in astronomical numbers, man. They're going to kill each other in numbers that, I'm telling you, are insane. I can see Jack Bushoko says Julius Malema for president 2024. Man, I don't know how are you guys going to do that. I don't know how are you guys going to do that, man. I don't know how is the EFF going to go from 10% party to suddenly over 50%. But the supporters of the EFF, man, they really have hope that the EFF can really do something. The EFF can do something. So, man, Jack Butloko, I guess we will see what's going to happen in 2024, man. We are going into 2024 in a few hours. Oh, Raj Papa says, well, we all voted for the African National Congress, and what happened? Man. How do people feel, especially the people who voted for the ANC in 1994? Man, in 1994, I was still a child. So I'm not I know I'm innocent. How do people feel after voting for the African National Congress in 1994? How do they feel about actually voting for the ANC in 2024? You look at the ANC 30 years after they took power. How do people feel, especially the people who voted for the African National Congress? Do these people, did they really think that the African National Congress was equipped to govern the country? Did they think that the African National Congress was capable to run the country? Or were they just emotional? I think the people of this country, man, voting for the African National Congress in 1994, man, it was the biggest mistake. It was the biggest mistake, man. It's going to get this country 100 years. We need a new generation that is going to fix this country, man. I've already said it. That the people that live in South Africa today, our generation and the generation before that, and man, I'm telling you, these people are not willing to fix South Africa, man. I'm a very young person. I'm not even 35. I'm a very young person, man. And I look at young people in this country, and I look at what young people are doing in this country. I look at what young people are occupied with. I look at what is interesting to young people in this country, man. It is very shameful. Because when you read about the history of this country, when you read about all the revolutions, man, were led by young people, man. All of the major changes in South Africa, man, were spearheaded by young people. But today, we have young people in this country. 60% of young people in this country, man, they are unemployed. That is millions and millions and millions and millions of them. They are saying nothing. They are saying nothing. But you look at the youth of 1976. You look at the youth of 1980, man. You look at the young people, man, in this country, man. During those times, young people were not complacent, man. These people were actually active. They were very active. But you look at young people today in South Africa, man. These people will never fix the country. If you for some reason believe that young people need to go out and vote and so that we can change this country, man, young people are not interested in voting. Young people do not want to vote. They don't want to vote. They don't want to vote. They don't want to have any conversations, anything that has to do with politics. They don't want. These are the kind of young people that we have today in South Africa. And this is my generation. That's why I'm telling you that I think we need a whole new generation that is going to say, okay, you guys, what you've been doing for the past 50 years is nonsense. All of that stops. Because the generation that we have today, man, it is not going to fix anything. I can guarantee you, it is not going to fix anything. Come 2024, man. Come 2024, I will be here on the platform after the elections. Come 2024, I'm telling you, young people in this country, man, they are not active. They are not. You look at even the African National Congress, man, many of the leaders of the African National Congress, many of the comrades, man, during apartheid, they were young. But they were very radical. They were young, but very radical. Young people in this country today, man, 30%ers.
That Ramaphosa received paid work from Phala is unsubstantiated. But while President Ramaphosa is the sole director of Ntabanyoni Close Cooperation, a company that received the controversial multi-million rand, the Office of the Public Protector suggests the president did nothing wrong by not declaring his company's income in the financial register with Secretary of Cabinet.
The president is a member of the close corporation, but in terms of the law, the close corporation maintains an independent personality and income deriving from the activities of the close corporation does not necessarily befall the president. It goes into the estate order as an asset of the close corporation. And
guys, I can see another comment from a gentleman called Aubrey, Mr. Aubrey de Bleek. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, man. It's Aubrey de Bleek. I'll say that. We need a representative democracy so voters can choose a parliament and only voters can take away their voting power in parliament. I've been saying this for such a long time, man. That's why I'm saying that I think because South Africans, many people in South Africa do not follow other countries or do not. That's why I said I look at the United States, man. You look at the fact people who are occupying the House of Representatives in the United States, those people are voted by the members of public. The people who are occupying the Senate House, those people are voted by the people of the United States. The people who are occupying White House, those people are elected by the people of the United States. But in South Africa, man, it's a whole total different story. I completely agree with Mr. Aubrey that, man, we need a system that is going to work in a similar manner so that people can elect their own ministers. People can elect the people who are going to go to parliament to actually represent them. Instead of these people, man, that are being imposed on people by politicians and these political parties. Today, you remember the EFF after they recruited Jacob Zuma's right-hand man, Mzwanele Manyi. They immediately took Mzwanele Manyi. The EFF, after they've recruited Jacob Zuma's right-hand man, Mzwanele Manyi, the EFF went on to put Mzwanele Manyi in parliament. They put Mzwanele Manyi in parliament. Despite people, men, working for the EFF for years, they simply took out one of the person that was in parliament and replaced that person with Mzwanele Manyi. They recruited Busiswe Mkhwebane and did the same thing. So right now, South Africans do not have a choice on who represents them in parliament. We don't have a choice. These political parties are doing as they please. If they don't like Jackson, they are taking Jackson out and they are bringing Belinda. If Belinda is doing something wrong, we are taking Belinda out or we are bringing in Lerato. This is how it's done. This is how it's done. And I don't think it should be done that way, man. I completely agree with Mr. Aubrey, man, that South Africans need to be given more choice. We need to be the ones that are electing the people that are going to represent us in parliament. It can't be that parliament is filled by politicians that are handpicked by the leaders of these political parties. Of course, the leaders of these political parties are not going to handpick people who actually want this country to progress, are going to handpick people who are trouble. They are going to handpick the troublemakers and send them to parliament so that the people of South Africa can be distracted. Because that's what parliament is doing to us right now. I think we need to be honest, man. That's what parliament is doing to the people of South Africa right now. The people of South Africa, man, they are simply distracted by parliament. Because when you sit at home and you watch parliament, there is nothing you can gain. There is nothing beneficial for you to watch parliament. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. Completely agree with you, Mr. Aubrey. Like we need a representative government, man. We cannot allow politicians to handpick these troublemakers to represent the people in parliament. And the political parties and the politicians, man, they are not even ashamed for their conduct there in parliament. I can see another comment from Nina saying that we have to stop giving them our money. That's the only way. But that is the thing, man. If I was reading an article 2 days back, I think. And this article says that South Africans must give politicians more money. Because if South Africans do not give politicians more money, politicians are going to be vulnerable. We bought by the people from the private sector. And you can see what is happening right now in South Africa. You can see what is happening globally. I mean, almost all the politicians are bought by the people from the private sector so that they can push the legislations that are going to help these people in the private sector to advance their own interest. This is what is happening. This is what is happening. So that article, man, was making an argument that the politicians, man, South Africans should give politicians more money. But I don't think it makes sense to South Africans right now. And I don't think any South African, with any reasonable South African, would ever allow a scenario where we are giving politicians more money. These people, men, have already proven to us that they are responsible with the money. But the thing is that, again, if these people are not giving more money, they are vulnerable to be bought by the people from the private sector. So I don't know, guys. What do you feel? What do you think? Do you think that you should give politicians more money? Or do you think that the politicians, the money they are getting is already enough? Please tell me what you think. Hope22 says, back in 1994, ANC under Mandela had some credibility, even under Mbeki. Yeah, I would agree with you to that extent. I would agree with Mbeki and Mandela, man. Corruption erupted after the Polokwane 2007. That's when I stopped supporting the African National Congress. So everything was broken down by Jacob Zuma. That's what Hope is saying, that at least under Mbeki and under Mandela, the ANC had a bit of credibility, man. They did. But at the same time, you need to understand that the ANC under Mbeki and the ANC under Mandela, back then people were still emotional from apartheid, from making it out from apartheid. So I don't think people were actually objective to actually see what the African National Congress was doing. Because if we really had to look at the corruption of the African National Congress, man, I can guarantee you it goes back. It even goes to that Nelson Mandela. I can guarantee you it goes back to Nelson Mandela. Because people were emotional back then. You remember Mandela was only the president for like one term, then Mbeki came and took over. People were still emotional in that time. People were still talking about apartheid and the fact that finally South Africa has defeated this evil apartheid regime. People were talking about that, but I honestly don't think people were objective. I don't think people were objective looking at the ANC under Mbeki and looking at the ANC under Nelson Mandela. I think South Africans started being objective to look at the ANC under Jacob Zuma. Because if Jacob Zuma came into the presidency, man, like and broke everything so easily, it shows you that maybe some of these things were already broken. Maybe some of these things were already in the process of being broken down. Because Jacob Zuma came and everything collapsed. But I don't believe that Jacob Zuma is the one that started corruption in the African National Congress. I honestly don't believe that Jacob Zuma is the only one who started corruption under the African National Congress. I think because people were emotional and not objective when Nelson Mandela and Mbeki were still the presidents of this country, South Africans were not objective, man. They were just happy. That's why people will still vote for the African National Congress, man, in crazy numbers. Because people were still not objective. People loved the African National Congress. And the African National Congress, you know, they've positioned themselves as the political party that fought for the people of South Africa. Right now, these people, man, we are paying the so-called ANC struggle heroes for being the struggle heroes for fighting apartheid, as if the average citizens of this country were not fighting apartheid. Right now, we are being told that people like Mabaso Msimang, people like, who are these ANC veterans guys? We should honor these guys. We should name the streets after these guys. We should name the infrastructure after these guys, because these people fought for apartheid. Man, that is a spit in the face to the people of South Africa, man. That is a spit in the face to the families that have lost their children, that have lost their loved ones in the hands of evil apartheid regime. That is a spit in the face. I also remember talking about renaming the infrastructure. I remember Kenny Kunene doing an interview saying that all of these streets that are named after the so-called quote-unquote colonizers, they need to be renamed after our struggle icons. That's when I was like, man, I really have a problem with this thing of renaming the streets. Because are we honestly going to sit here as South Africans and actually believe that South Africa was fought, South Africa, the only people who fought apartheid in South Africa are these struggle icons that are presented to us? What about the average citizens? Kenny Kunene doesn't say anything about renaming the streets after the average South Africans that have lost their lives in this evil regime of the apartheid. They don't say anything about that. They don't say anything about that. It makes no sense to me for us to rename the streets, to rename the infrastructure, to rename the bridges, everything about after these struggle icons that were given to us, as if the average citizens of this country were not fighting apartheid. Man, I can tell you today, you can knock and enter every single house in this country, man. Every single house in this country, they have their own story regarding the apartheid government, man. People have lost their children. People have lost their loved ones. People have lost their parents in the hands of this evil apartheid regime. But today, you have the comrades and the likes of Kenny Kunene going around telling South Africans that we need to rename our infrastructure after our struggle icons. Man, what about average South Africans who died in the hands of apartheid, man? Most of these guys that you guys are clapping hands for, that you guys are calling the struggle icons, were in exile when average citizens of this country, man, had to face the apartheid regime each and every day. But today we have been told that no, you cannot name the streets after the average South Africans, man. You know that the average South Africans were sitting down while the likes of Steve Biko, the likes of Buthelezi, Mandela, all of these people, while they were fighting the apartheid regime, the average South Africans were sitting at home crying, and these ANC cadres are the only ones that were brave enough to face this apartheid regime. Man, that is bullshit. That is bullshit. That's why I don't follow this whole thing of struggle icons, man. Everyone that if I hear that a politician has died and this person is an apartheid struggle and apartheid activist, man, I'm like, even our parents were apartheid activists, man. Don't tell us that we should honor this person because this person is named as an apartheid activist. What about our parents, man? What about our brothers? What about our sisters? What about our uncles that died in the hands of evil apartheid regime? And we are told that these people are the apartheid activists. So everyone must cry because this person died, because this person was fighting the apartheid government. Man, I will never fall for that nonsense of the the struggle icons of the struggle. He goes, I don't honor them. I don't recognize them. I don't see them as anything special, man. This is why I'm so pissed off when I see these ANC cadres going around telling people that, guys, you should love us because we are the struggle icons. People who have been told about Mabaso Msimang. Yeah, Mabaso Msimang is a very man of stature. This person fought apartheid government. Man, people lost their loved ones, man. People lost their family members in the hands of apartheid. And I'm telling you, I'm talking about the black people, man. I'm talking about the Indian people, white people, Indians, Muslim, black people. All of us in this country, man, were the victims of the evil apartheid regime. Then you have people going around telling us that only these selective people are the only ones that actually fought apartheid. That is bullshit. That is bullshit, and that's why I don't love this whole thing of struggle icons, man. I will never support this whole thing of struggle icons. I will never honor anyone that is presented to us as a struggle icon. When I see adults, you see me, when I see adults, anyone who is over 50 years or anyone who is maybe late 40s or the what, I respect those people because I know those people lived with the apartheid regime. And when I see adults, when I see the seniors in this country, when I see someone who is old in this country, man, I appreciate that person for being here today because I know whether that person was in the streets or whether that person was protecting their family, I know that person faced the evil regime of the apartheid. I don't care if that person is white, I don't care if that person is African, Indian, black person, Muslim, I don't care. If you're an adult and I see you in this country, I know that you were facing the apartheid regime, and I know that you were activist of the apartheid regime. I'm not going to listen to the comrades telling me that only these people are the ones that fought apartheid, man. I'm not going to listen to that. I'm not going to listen to that.
What the public protector looked at is whether from that income is there a payment or remuneration to the president from the close corporation.
The Democratic Alliance says it's weighing its legal options, while the National Freedom Party wants the public protector to publish all evidence, including interviews.
And Michael Lawson says that there is no party worth voting for. There's no party worth voting for. You know, when Mr. Michael Lawson says that there's no party worth voting for, it reminds me of, if you have been following the channel, it reminds me of those videos that I did about Orania. And guys, please, guys, I've left the WhatsApp line on the pinned comment. Guys, please send those voice notes. Please send those voice notes. I want to hear your thoughts. Guys, it is the last day of 2023. I cannot be here doing all the talk by myself. Guys, please send those voice notes. I want to hear what you think. I want you to tell me what are the stories that really caught your attention. I want you to tell me if you feel different from what I'm saying or what. But please send those voice notes. Guys, I want us to engage. Please, let's do that. I see a comment from Mr. Michael Lawson says that there is no party worth voting for. That's why I'm saying that when I see that comment, I remember those videos that I did about Orania. I remember how frustrated black people were towards me, saying that, Thomas, how can you come on this platform and tell black people in this country that they must learn from Orania? Orania is a racist, apartheid, it's a racist apartheid promoting place. You cannot come on this platform and tell South Africans that, man, they need to learn from apartheid. Guys, Mr. Lawson says there's no party worth voting for. Mr. Lawson says there's no party worth voting for. This is the reason why I told South Africans that, man, we need to learn from Orania. And I still stand by that to tell South Africans that we need to learn from Orania. We need to learn from Orania. We need to learn from Orania. I've said this before that politicians in South Africa, they hate Orania because Orania reminds them of what South Africa could be like. Politicians, when they look at Orania, when they look at how productive that country, it is the country, né? Orania is a country, man. I don't care who says what. Politicians, when they look at Orania, they hate the fact that Orania reminds them of South Africa, of what South Africa could be like. They hate the fact that Orania does not depend on any political party or any politicians. Politics in Orania does not cut it. The people of Orania, man, those people, man, are the most amazing people in this world, man. You see the people of Orania, man, these people, I love them so much. The people of Orania, I love them so much. Because if we, the communities, if we, the black communities, start doing things ourselves, the things that we pay the government to do, if we start doing those things by ourselves, then we will see that there's no need for us to vote for these people who are failing to give us those services. If black people today start cleaning their own communities, start patrolling their own communities, start helping each other in their communities, there would be no need for us to have these people in government wasting our tax money, telling us that they can do these things that we are doing for ourselves. The only way politicians in this country can be irrelevant is if the people of this country, community to community, start building their own community without the help of the politicians. That is the only way the people of this country, man, can actually move forward. Right now, when you look at our communities, man, our communities are turned into illegal dumpings. Illegal dumpings everywhere in our communities. It stinks. It's sewage is everywhere. But I can tell you today, there's no justification for that. There's no reason why black people should live in these dirty communities. There's no reason for us to live in the neighborhoods that are filled with sewage, because we have the people that are good with plumbing. Why don't we utilize those people to be our service people within our communities? As communities, man, we can set up the funds so that we can save, just like having our own municipality, our own government, the same way Orania did. The same way Orania did. Now these people, they have their own government, their own municipality. The people there, they pay those people. And these people there, they make sure that the people of Orania, man, they have everything. But because the people of Orania, they have their own municipality, they are not saying, just because we have our own municipality and we are paying this kind of amount, now we are going to sit back and allow everything to be in the hands of our municipality. No. The people of Orania, they are helping their own municipality. They are helping their own municipality. Why don't we do that as black people in our communities? Why don't we set up the structures like that within our communities and say that, guys, if within our communities we have 500 homes, in these 500 homes, this is a kind of money that we're going to take out to make sure that within our community, we don't have illegal dumpings. We can actually maybe give stipends to people who are prepared to put their lives on the line and patrol the streets. We can give a bit of stipends to the people who are willing to put their lives on the line to patrol the streets to make sure that we are safe. We can have people who can actually help and fix all of this nonsense of sewages all over our communities. We have people within our communities who can do those things, but those people are not utilized because as communities, we are not united. We are not united. Everyone says that now I'm a taxpayer. So if I'm a taxpayer, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to do anything. We have people within our communities. These people, man, they have different skills. We have people that can do the gates. We have people that can do the DSTVs. We can have people who can do everything within our communities. But we don't have the structures within our communities that is going to make politicians irrelevant. I completely agree with Mr. Lawson, man. I remember this is one of the reasons why I started this platform. I said one of the reasons why I started this platform is to make people realize that there's nothing that politicians can offer to South Africans. Absolutely nothing. Politicians love it when there's division. They love it when people hate each other. That is the only reason why they thrive. You wonder why today the politicians in South Africa, they are pushing for the people of South Africa to be divided. They are pushing for the people of South Africa to hate each other. Because if the people of this country are divided, the people of this country, they hate each other, politicians will always be relevant. The only way for politicians not to be relevant within our lives is if we can adopt the same methods that is being adopted by Orania. Right now in Orania, they don't have unemployment rate, man. Everyone in Orania works. Everyone in Orania works. Orania works. Orania is safe. Then you have people saying that, Thomas, how can you come on this platform to tell us to learn from Orania? How can you tell me not to tell the people to learn from Orania when there is no unemployment in Orania, when Orania is safe, when the infrastructure of Orania is good? You are telling me not to tell people not to look at Orania. Why? Because the politicians are telling you that Orania is racist. I don't care how racist Orania is. I don't care if Orania will never allow me in as a black man. Man, I honestly don't care if the people of Orania, they will never allow me to touch their soil. I don't care. But I will tell you today that I love what those people are doing, and I'm willing to learn from what those people are doing. I told people long time ago, they said that, okay, Thomas, you are wrong. You cannot tell people to look at Orania because you know that's how people are in this country, man. Everything is black and everything is white. Everything is black and everything is white. So you cannot come and tell people of this country to learn anything from white people. You cannot come and tell black people to learn anything from white people in this country. That's how things are in South Africa. Today we are living in shitholes. All of our communities, man, most of our communities are shitholes. But guess what? We are okay with that. We are okay with that. Why? Because our government is black. We are okay with that. Again, Mr. Lawson says politicians offer crocodile every time the elections are due. Most of us haven't learned to not to believe them. Man, I can tell you today that, man, black people in this country, man, especially majority of poor black people, man, you know, people come on this platform and say, Thomas, why are you so harsh on black people, man? I am so harsh on black people because I want black people to do better. I want our people to stop being easily fooled. I want our people to stop being easily manipulated. I want our people to start studying things. I want our people to start being objective, especially when we look at politicians, man. Our people have adopted this nasty behavior of actually idolizing the politicians. When they look at politicians, they look at people that they idolize. You cannot criticize Julius Malema. If you criticize Julius Malema, you are anti-black. You cannot criticize the African National Congress. Even if the African National Congress is bad, you must continue voting for the African National Congress because the African National Congress is a black party. The EFF is telling you that no matter what you do, no matter, you cannot vote for the Democratic Alliance because if you vote for the DA is going to bring back apartheid. That's what these people are telling the people of South Africa. And the people of South Africa, they are happy to swallow that. They are happy to take that in. Swallow it. Take it in. Take it in. Take it in. The people of South Africa are actually the ones that are standing between their progress in this country. The people of this country, right now, it is no longer about the politicians, man. We've said everything that we want to say about the politicians. Right now, it is no longer about the politicians. I think right now, it's at the hands of the people of this country. The people of this country, man, they do not want any progress. I think right now, we should make peace with the fact that the people of this country do not want any progress. They don't. They don't.
And affidavits of people.
So, guys, I'm going to skip the whole story of Palapala. I think I've already made myself like I've already expressed my opinions on this whole Palapala thing, man. I honestly believe that Palapala is the biggest scandal to ever rock South Africa, and the fact that the president got scot-free so easily, man. The fact that the president got scot-free so easily, man, it is insane. It is very insane. And the other story that really caught my attention, sorry for that, guys. The other story that really caught my attention, it was that story of, you remember when the Springboks won the World Cup, man? You remember the reaction from politicians, man. Still, man, shout out to the Springboks, man. Today in South Africa, we are still the winners of the World Cup. We are the number ones, man, in the world, man. Shout out to the Springboks, man. These people have made us very proud in this country, man. You remember the story of the Springboks. You remember the Springboks went to France to play the World Cup. They won the World Cup. They came with the trophy. And then the politicians started being politicians. The man that you are seeing on your screen right now is Penuel. Penuel the Black Pen. Penuel the Black Pen is one of those guys who came out and said that South Africans should not celebrate the Springboks. You remember how Penuel came out and said South Africans cannot celebrate the Springboks. Why are South Africans actually forced to celebrate the Springboks, man? I remember I ate him alive. You remember that video, guys, that I did to Penuel and to the likes of Julius Malema telling the people of South Africa that they cannot celebrate the Springboks, man. I came out and ate these people alive because I said, guys, there's no way I'm going to allow a bunch of guys to tell me what to feel. There's no way I'm going to allow these people that I've never even met before. I don't even know who these people are. There's no way I'm going to allow these people to actually come out and tell me as a black person which part, what to vote for, what to celebrate and not to celebrate. People like Penuel and people like Julius Malema, man, I think the win of the Springboks, man, it really exposed what these people are like, man. These people are willing to sacrifice this whole country, man. These people want to ban the whole country just to promote their whole agendas, man. There's no way that a team like Springboks, man, you know how hard the Springboks work. The Springboks work so hard. You know how hard these people work, man. And for these people to come out and tell South Africans that black people in this country, they are forced to celebrate the Springboks. The black people in this country, they do not support Bafana Bafana. The black people in this country right now, they are the puppets of the white monopoly capital, because if Bafana Bafana can do the same thing, there's no way the country can support Bafana Bafana the way the country supported the Springboks. Man, I came out and told these people, man, that is bullshit. That is bullshit. I'm old enough to remember what happened in 2020, man. In 2010, I'm old enough to know what happened in 2020. You remember in 2010, the people of this country, man, they supported Bafana Bafana. South Africans supported Bafana Bafana in 2020. We knew that Bafana Bafana was never going to win. We knew Bafana Bafana was never going to win the World Cup. We knew Bafana Bafana is not going to go to the semifinals. But these people, they came out and we supported Bafana Bafana still. You remember when Bafana Bafana scored their first goal. You remember how happy we were that Bafana Bafana actually scored a goal during the World Cup. For these people to come out and say that the South Africans did not show the amount of love to Bafana Bafana when Bafana Bafana was in the World Cup, I felt like, man, it was really nasty of these people to do. And I still, till today, I don't know what is the motive of these people to tell the South Africans not to celebrate the Springboks. How can you tell us, the people of this country, not to celebrate the Springboks, man? People who are playing rugby within our townships, man. People don't know rugby. People are not familiar with rugby. People will only tell you how soccer is like, because you know soccer is easy. You score one goal, then it's one. That person scores, then it's one. But with rugby, the laws are a bit different. So, but still, the people within our communities, the people here in the townships, man, the people who watched the Springboks, the people who wanted the Springboks to actually succeed, despite them not understanding much about rugby, they worked and they watched the Springboks because they wanted the Springboks to succeed. And when the Springboks succeeded, winning the World Cup, man, the people of this country were happy. Only for people like Julius Malema, people like Penuel, to come out and tell South Africans not to celebrate the Springboks. You remember Julius Malema coming out and telling his supporters that, guys, you cannot support the Springboks. The colors of the Springboks, they represent the apartheid system. This is despite... You know what I love about the EFF, man? What I love about the EFF is the hypocrisy that the party holds with. I love that a lot about the EFF, man, the hypocrisy that the party holds with. You remember 2 days after the Springboks have won, the World Cup, EFF released a poster. And on that poster, the EFF actually congratulated the Springboks. The EFF congratulated the Springboks. They said that, man, you guys are inspiring. You guys are the hope of this country. We are really happy about what the Springboks is doing. The EFF official Twitter page released that poster. So the EFF supporters, man, you know how these people are. They had to follow the line and congratulate the Springboks. The EFF supporters congratulated the Springboks. They congratulated the Springboks. They congratulated the Springboks. 2 days after, Julius Malema was like, no, there's no way we're going to congratulate the Springboks. So Julius Malema went out and he started speaking. And he said that there's no way his supporters can support the Springboks. There's no way South Africa should support the Springboks. And his supporters, man, the same people who actually supported the Springboks, the same people who were actually posting and reposting Siyakolis, were now telling you that the Springboks is racist. The same people who supported the Springboks, the same people who came out and said, yes, the Springboks have won. The same people, after Julius Malema made one public speech, these people came out and said that, man, we cannot support the Springboks. The Springboks are racist. The emblem of the Springboks is racist. Hey, guys. These people, I was sitting there, man, in disbelief. I was sitting in disbelief. Like, What the hell is wrong with these people, man? These people literally congratulated the Springboks for winning the World Cup. These people congratulated the Springboks for winning the World Cup. The EFF official Twitter page actually made a poster congratulating the Springboks. So the EFF supporters actually congratulated the Springboks. But no, no. It only took one public appearance by Julius Malema for all of them to say that, man, we don't care about the Springboks. Siakole Semen is a product of a white monopoly capital. The Springboks, man, are racist, man. I was like, geez. If this is what it means to be a member of political party, man, this is the reason why I'm telling you guys each and every day that I will never join any political party, man. There's no way I'm going to defend a political party. There's no way I'm going to defend something so indefensible. No way. No way. His supporters, man, they had to stand with the CRC of the team. They had to say Julius Malema is right. The official Twitter page of the EFF that released a poster congratulating the Springboks, man, it was wrong. So I came on this platform and I said, guys, there's no way I'm going to allow Julius Malema and the likes of Penuel to come and tell black people not to celebrate the Springboks, because now they feel like the country cannot celebrate the Springboks because they are pushing the certain agendas they want to push. Julius Malema never actually went back on his way. You know that's how Julius Malema is like. I was just laughing at the supporters of the EFF, man. I was just laughing like this whole thing is funny. How can you guys actually congratulate the Springboks, man? For 2 days straight on Twitter, you people were doing the posters of Siakole, man. You guys were telling us how proud you are of the Springboks. But it only took one public appearance by Julius Malema for all of you guys to come out and say that, man, we are no longer supporting the Springboks, man. It was so funny to watch. It was so funny to watch. And these are the reasons why I will never support any political party, man. I will never support any political party. There's no way. That's why I'm telling South Africans to push to be like Orania. I'm telling South Africans to push to be like Orania because I want to live in a country where politicians are not relevant in our lives. I want to live in a country that is built by communities. I want to live in a country where communities actually love and respect each other. I don't want to live in a country that is run by politicians, man. For the past 30 years, politicians have actually proved to the people of South Africa that there's nothing they can offer to the people of South Africa, man. How many political parties do we have in parliament? We have millions and millions and millions of political parties in parliament. There's nothing these people are offering to the people of South Africa, man. The scandals like the Palapala scandals, man, they are still there. There's no one actually running after that scandal and saying, guys, no matter what this compromised public protector is saying, the president is actually compromised on the whole Palapala scandal, man. There's no one coming out and saying that Floyd Shivambu from the EFF, man, the Parliament Ethics Committee, man, found out that you hid money that you got from Sgameka, man. The same Sgameka that was investigated because of VBS, you got money from Sgameka project. The same Sgameka that was investigated because of the collapse of the VBS. You never declared that money to Parliament. This money was actually discovered that you actually received this money, but you never told the parliament that you got this money from Sgameka. And I hear the EFF supporters are saying, oh man, how can you say Sgameka is not VBS? Sgameka is not VBS, man. That is for the courts to determine. But the fact that the deputy president of the EFF failed to declare the money that you got from Sgameka, man. And we have millions and millions of political parties in parliament, man. What is the purpose of these people to be in parliament? There is no need for South Africans to pay all of these people in parliament because these people are useless to us. There is nothing they are doing for us. Nothing. Nothing. What have you gained as an average South African by watching parliament? What have you actually gained from watching the parliament? Man, you see, that's why I tell South Africans that, man, you need to start watching global politics more, man. You need to start watching how other countries are conducting their political matters, man. You see in the United States, whether the Republicans are the ones in the White House occupying the Senate, having the majority in the House of Representatives, the Democrats are not going to stop working for their people. The Democrats will go to the floor every day and they will propose the laws. The Republicans will turn them down because you know the animosity between the Republicans and the Democrats. The same thing with the Democrats. If the Democrats are in charge, just like how the Democrats are in charge right now, with Joe Biden and the Democrats are in charge, I think there's still majority in the Senate. Still, it does not stop the Republicans from actually working for their people. Just because you have ANC in charge, It doesn't mean that you as a political party, you cannot work for your people. It doesn't mean that you as a political party, you cannot come and say, guys, this is the law that we think we should debate as a parliament. This is actually, we actually think that this law is actually going to help the people of South Africa. Let us debate these things. In South Africa, that's not how it works. If you watch parliament, you would actually think that the only relevant parties in parliament, it's EFF, is DA, and the African National Congress. All other political parties, it's almost as if these people are bored to sit there and say nothing, to be useless and to sit there and say nothing. These people, man, are useless to the people of South Africa. There's no need for South Africans to vote for all of these people. Absolutely no need. No need. That's why I'm pushing for politics. Man, I told people, I've already said it before, guys. The reason why I started this platform, man, is just to show people that, man, there's nothing politicians can solve for us. Politicians are not going to solve for us. That's why I love Orania so much. That's why even today, when the people are talking about Cape Independence, man, you cannot fault the people who are talking about Cape Independence. You cannot say the people who are talking about Cape Independence are irrational. How can you say these people are irrational when the majority of black people in this country actually do not want any, they do not want anything to be done in the country. Majority of black people in this country, they are okay with what is happening in the country. So how can you tell people that are advocating for Cape Independence and tell them that, no, you guys are not rational? How? Do you want everyone to die in this ANC dystopia? Do you want all of us to die under the ANC before you say that, man, we need to do something? People who are advocating for Cape Independence, man, I'm saying good luck to you. Good luck to you guys, honestly.
Penny or the Black Pen. So recently I was dragged on social media for stating that I prefer supporting the New Zealand All Blacks in rugby.
It is funny because Penwell came out and said that he is supporting the New Zealand over the Springboks during the World Cup final. You are supporting the opponents over your own country during a World Cup final. Then Penwell still had the audacity to come to the people of South Africa and tell us that we are not patriotic. I don't know where these people live, man. I don't know where these people live. This guy came and said that he's supporting New Zealand over South Africa, but still had the audacity to lecture South Africans about patriotism and told South Africans that they are not patriotic, and told South Africans not to celebrate the Springboks winning over the team that he preferred. He actually wanted the Springboks to win, he wanted the All Blacks to win the World Cup, but not the Springboks. Man, I don't care how much I like the Springboks, the All Blacks, but if the All Blacks are going to compete with the Springboks during a World Cup final, I don't care how much I like the All Blacks. I am going to vote, or I am going to support the Springboks. I'm going to support the Springboks. I've never seen anyone during a World Cup saying that, yeah, Brazil is playing against my home country, but because I love Brazil so much, I'm going to support Brazil over my home country. No one does that. Even if they say Brazil versus Senegal, you know that Brazil is going to win, but the Senegalese people, man, are actually behind the Senegalese team. You can't tell me that people in Senegal walking around telling you that, nah, we want Brazil to win. We want Brazil to win because we want Brazil to win. The Senegalese people are going to support their own team, even if they know that their team is going to lose. This person supported the All Blacks. He supported the All Blacks over the Springboks during a World Cup final, and still had the audacity to lecture South Africans about the spirit of patriotism. But I'm happy that Penwell actually went back to his senses. He actually went back to his senses and said, guys, man, I was wrong. I was wrong to actually tell the people of South Africa not to support the Springboks, man. I was actually wrong.
Rugby, and I gave a historical account of my personal experience and my support for the team. Still get dragged today, and it's okay. Gone on to celebrate and congratulate the Springboks. They are currently my second favorite team. I support Rassia Rasmus, Jacques Ninaber, Siya Kolisi, Cheston Colby, Andre Pollard, Manili Bok, Faf de Klerk, all the players, very, very much. I'm very proud of them, and I'm very proud of the transformation that has happened in South African rugby from 30 years ago, 29 years ago, maybe 95, when Francois Pienaar lifted the Rugby World Cup, handed over by President Nelson Mandela, with the late Steve Tshwete at the back, who was the Minister of Sports. The EFF went and congratulated the Springboks. And then later on, they went and they had a change of heart. And Julius Malima's gone on to explain that he had a dip in political consciousness. And he is still calling for, as Mbuyiseni Ndlozi has done before, because he also didn't celebrate the Springboks in 2019 when they won the World Cup, lifted by Siya Kolisi as well at the time. Julius Malema has said we need to be vigilant. The Springbok emblem needs to be changed. The colors of the green and gold need to be changed. The name, the Springboks, need to be changed. And I think they also added the stem, which is the Afrikaans part of the national anthem of South Africa, that needs to be removed. And they basically saying as the EFF that the symbol of the Springboks, the colors and everything, they are a representation of apartheid South Africa and they must be dismantled. And many people have tagged me on Julius's videos and they've asked for my opinions. Yesterday I responded to a tweet by senior advocate Dali Pof, who was saying we need to have a rational discussion or debate around this. And when I went live on TikTok last night, someone also asked in the comments my thoughts and my views, and I shared them and I'm sharing them now. I do not agree with the EFF stance at all, Julius Malima's stance at all, with Mbuyiseni Ndlozi's stance at all. As much as I might prefer the New Zealand All Blacks for my own personal reasons, I still am a huge supporter of the Springboks. I myself grew up wanting to don the green and gold and play for the Springboks and represent my country. The Springbok as a symbol, the animal, a Springbok, it's one of our national animals. It's a beautiful animal, and if ever South Africans wanted to change from a Springbok to a lion, to a rhino, to a giraffe, to a zebra, to an elephant, to a buffalo, we can decide as a collective, and it must make sense. It mustn't be politically motivated, because I'd like to think the animal, the Springbok, when you see it hopping around, doesn't get you angry at apartheid South Africa. That's quite silly for me. I do not agree that the Springbok symbol is similar to a swastika from Nazi Germany. I disagree with that very much. It is very different from the old apartheid or the old South African flag. That can be argued that maybe that is a symbol of apartheid and because it represented a country that was divided, not the sports team. There is a history, and I need to give a shout out to Dan Corder, one of my favorite TikTokers currently, who does these amazing think pieces and information pieces on politics, current affairs in this country. He's got a great video on the history of South African rugby and the racism. Something that I've raised many times. There is still racism in South African rugby, and it is a work in progress. We can see it today. Siya Kolisi, Oxenche, Trevor Nyagani, Bongi Mbonambi, Jaden Hendrickse, Grant Williams, Manny Liebok, Damian Willemse, Cheston Colby, Kurtley Arendse, I don't know who I'm missing from this squad, Mabaso, PMP, Lukhanyo we can keep going, and there's so much more talent in the country today. So there's been a lot of work. Even at school level, there's been a lot of work. The transformation agenda is ongoing, and shout out to Rassie Erasmus for understanding how important this has been. We've come a long way since 94, since 95, and we're still going even further today in the transformation and the diversity. And it's not being done just with quotas, which was done before. It is being done in real time with the schools embracing diversity. I currently live in Johannesburg, and if you look at the diversity of the top schools here, Kes in Houghton, JP Boys, if you look at even Afrikaans schools like Hoërskool Monument, if you look at Hoërskool Noordheuwel, if you look at Hoërskool Garsfontein, so many colored and black players there doing really, really well. So the work is being done. Maybe not enough is being done at development at grassroots level. And that's where we unfortunately need to blame our sports ministry, and that's where we need to blame our government run by the ANC. So if Julius Malema and the EFF want to focus their energy elsewhere, it must be how can we ensure that people like Makazole Mapimpi, Lukhanyo where they come from, their homes and their schools, the township schools, the rural village schools are getting rugby fields. They're getting decent infrastructure, they're getting scrum machines, and we are allowing them to be seen. We're creating tournaments. I need to give a shout out to senior advocate Dali Mpofu, who actually sponsors a rugby tournament in the Eastern Cape where he comes from. That is pretty dope. Siya Kolisi himself has also got his own rugby tournament, and that's pretty dope. We need more of those type of initiatives. But the symbol, I'd like to think almost all South Africans are fine with, number one. The colors, the green and gold. The green represents the green of our land. Yes, many people say we need the land back and we need to speak about how we need to redistribute and share this land. But green represents land. Some of our political parties have the colors green. When you see the color green, you don't think, oh, apartheid. Gold. Gold is one of the commodities that has built our economy. Green and gold represent South Africa. If the EFF wants to change, of course, like I said with the animals, they can say, can we maybe use black and white to represent the black and white diversity of this country? Do we want to use yellow? Why would we want to use yellow? Maybe for the sun. Do we want to use red, the colors of the EFF? Why must we use the colors of the EFF? What has the EFF done to further the rugby agenda in South Africa?
Nothing.
But currently, people have no issues with the green and gold. We saw the new Springbok jersey, which was, hey, I don't know what color that was, the FNB and the checkers colors. And many South Africans were like, we want the green and gold back. And it was brought back. People love the green and gold. It is a winning name. It is a winning color. Sorry, it's winning colors. The name the Springbokker or the Springboks, again, I do not think it ignites racial, whatever the case may be. It's a name. You can make
It doesn't. It doesn't. It never did. It never did until they started speaking about it, until Julius Malema started making an issue when it wasn't. It wasn't an issue. This whole thing was never an issue. It was never an issue. I can tell you today, it was never an issue. Guys, I'm going to try to play you a voice note that I got from Mr. Aubrey. I'm going to try to play you that voice note. Guys, please send it the voice note. Please send it the voice note. Like I've already said, man, I don't want to finish the whole stream running my mouth. I said this stream is for you guys. That's why I want you guys to engage. Please tell me what you think on the comment section. Please tell me what you think about the things that we are talking about on the comment section. And please, guys, try to send those voice notes. I've left the WhatsApp line on the pinned comment. Please send those voice notes. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts. I want you to tell me what is it exactly that caught your attention in South African politics in 2023. I want you to tell me what you think is going to happen to South Africa going into 2024. I want you to tell me what political party are you going to vote for and why are you going to vote for that political party, and which political party would you never even think of actually voting for in 2024. Guys, I want you to engage so that, of course, and please, guys, don't forget to hit that like button so that the stream can go further. Please, 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 please. Mr. Aubrey, I am going to need you to resend the voice note because it seems like the voice note has been corrupted. I'm going to need you to resend the voice notes. I'm going to try to connect again. I'm going to try to connect again so that I can play your voice notes, man. I appreciate it when people send their voice notes because you really show me that you are interested in the topics that you are talking about. It really shows me that you really want what is best for South Africa. Guys, talking about the Springboks, man, I can tell you today, the colors were never an issue for South Africa, man. The colors of gold and green were always there. And if you really think about it, if you really think about it, the Springboks, it is not the only national team that wears gold and yellow. Even Bafana Bafana wears gold and yellow. And that whole thing, it was never an issue, man. It was never an issue. I don't know why people suddenly now thought that the Springboks is an issue. It was never an issue. Never an issue. And for people to say that we don't support the Springboks, but we support rugby. You don't support rugby if you don't support the Springboks. You can't tell me that you support rugby, but you don't support your national team. You can't tell me that. You've already told the people of South Africa that there's no interest for you. You've already told the people of South Africa that there's no interest for you. You don't want the Springboks. You don't love the Springboks. So why are you here giving people the suggestions and telling people that this is what we change, this is what we should change? Why should we change anything? When you have already demonstrated that you don't like the Springboks, you've already said that you don't like the Springboks. So why are you telling the people that this is what we should do, this is what we shouldn't do, this is what we should do, this is what we shouldn't do? You can't tell the people that. You can't. You can't. You can't. If you don't like the Springboks, man, then it's fine. If you don't want to support the Springboks, then it's fine. It's okay if you don't want to support the Springboks. It's okay. It's okay if you don't want to support the Springboks. It's cool. But you can't tell me that you don't support the Springboks, but you want to tell us that, nah, the emblems are wrong and the colors are wrong. If we change the emblems and if we change the colors, then maybe we might support them. And if the team is a bit, how can I put it?
Yesterday I responded to a tweet.
If the team is diverse, maybe we can think about actually supporting the Springboks. Man, these people are telling us that the Springboks does not have any diversity. Man, how many black people do you see in the Springboks team? How many black people are playing in the Springboks team? Then we're gonna take the same. And apply it to Bafana Bafana. How many white people do you see playing for Bafana Bafana? Do we even care about the diversity when we talk about Bafana Bafana? Or we don't care about the diversity when we talk about Bafana Bafana? Do you think that the diversity only matters when we talk about the Springboks? To me, it makes no sense. Because if you want diversity, man, you need to put all of these teams on a blast and say that Bafana Bafana, you don't have Indian players, you don't have Afrikaners players, man, you don't have the Muslim players. Why? When South Africa is one of the most diverse countries in the world, why is our national team not representative of us? But for you to say nothing, you say nothing about the fact that we don't have white players in the Springboks. And when you look at the cricket, man, it's still the same thing. People will tell you that, no, I will not support the cricket because the cricket, man, the cricket team, it is not diverse. All of these people are telling you that they will not support Bafana Bafana, they will not support the Springboks, they will not support the Springboks, they will not support the Proteas because of the diversity. They say nothing about Bafana Bafana. And this is one part that actually frustrates me, is because these people say nothing about Bafana Bafana and the fact that Bafana Bafana is not diverse. They say nothing about that. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, this whole gotta be nonsense. The last time Bafana Bafana actually won something, it was during the 1995 African Cup of Nations. And if you look at the squad of Bafana Bafana that actually won that cup, that squad was actually diverse. It was diverse. You had white players in the squad and you had black players in the squad. Man, if you don't think our diversity is actually a strength, look at that team. That team is the last time we actually had a national team that people are actually proud of. Because the team was diverse and the team was winning. That's why it was not hard for the people to actually support the team. Because the team was winning and the team was diverse. Now the team is all black. Bafana Bafana are the ones that should occupy the name All Blacks. Because when you look at the Bafana Bafana squad, it's all blacks. Literally. But they tell us about diversity, man. They are lecturing South Africans about the diversity, man. This is the kind of country that we are living in. It's very unfortunate that we live in this kind of a country. Very unfortunate. You see me? That's why I think, guys, that's why I love this platform. You know, this is one of the reasons why I love this platform so much. This is one of the reasons why I love this platform so much. I love this platform because on this platform, man, we don't look at things in the eyes of political analysts. We don't look at things in the eyes of these mainstream medias, man, that are only trying to sow divisions in South Africa. But on this platform, man, we are really talking about real things that are affecting us as the people of this country. You can't tell me that you are pushing for diversity, but you want that diversity only for the Springboks. And tell me, how does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. To me, it doesn't make sense. I don't know, maybe to you if it makes sense, but to me, it doesn't make sense. If you want diversity, you really have to go for diversity. If you say that, okay, I don't think there are enough black players in the Springboks, then you really need to say that, I don't think there are enough white players in Bafana Bafana. But no, that's not how it goes. That's not how it goes. And I must say that, man, shout out to Penuel for actually thinking about this stuff and actually walking back some of this. I know that right now it's actually bashing the EFF for walking back some of their statements that they've already made. You know, the EFF was supporting the Springboks, but they came back and said that we are no longer supporting the Springboks. Penuel came back and said that I'm not supporting the Springboks, only for him to come back and say that I am supporting the Springboks. So him and Julius Malema actually went this way. Julius Malema went back to hating the Springboks. Penuel actually went back to loving the Springboks. And now he's actually thinking about these things that these people haven't actually done anything for our sports. Never mind rugby. Why are these people telling us how should our rugby be conducted when these people haven't even contributed anything for the betterment of our sports? The only thing that they've contributed in our sports is racial politics. Nothing. Nothing. So I'm going to say, man, like, shout out to Penuel for actually walking back this statement. Like, really, I must say, shout out to Penuel for working back this statement that he actually made. because he realized that, man, there's absolutely no way I can tell people of South Africa not to support the Springboks because the Springboks is not diverse. You look at Bafana is not diverse. Why are we not talking about Bafana? Bafana is a bunch of losers, man. People like Penuel came out and told South Africans that, man, you are not supporting the Bafana with the same vigor that you are supporting the Springboks with. And people told him that, man, if Bafana starts winning, we are going to support you. The sponsorships are looking at the team. If the team starts performing well, the sponsorships are going to come. The team is going to grow. South Africans are going to support it because we're going to have the national pride, man. Every time when our team plays, I know that in this country, man, we are divided by race. I know that we have many problems in this country. We have racism, we have tribalism all over the place. But when Bafana is playing, we know that actually right now it is our moment for our national pride, and we are going to support the team. And right now, the fact that we are not supporting Bafana actually tells you about the performance of Bafana and tells you about the fact that Bafana right now and the executive of Bafana, they've decided to play politics instead of actually bettering the team. Right now, the team, man, is like, the team is garbage. There's no need for the taxpayers to continue paying for this Bafana nonsense, because what is it exactly that the people of the country are getting? Nothing. There's no national pride in watching Bafana. No national pride. Are you surprised that many black people, man, who know nothing about rugby, man, have decided to gravitate towards rugby instead of soccer? They've said, man, to hell with Bafana. These people are actually giving us our national pride, man. When the Springboks won, you would actually see people in town hugging each other. You would see white people hugging black people. You would see the Indians. Everyone was hugging each other because this team actually gave us the national pride. Bafana never gave us a national pride. The last time Bafana gave South Africa a national pride, it was the time when they won African Cup of Nations, and the team was the team was actually diverse. The team was diverse. No, that's not how it goes. That's not how the politicians actually want to play this whole thing. So, guys, I'm going to try to play that voice note again. I hope that right now it plays. And shout out to Mr. Aubrey, man, for keeping and for listening. You know that I've already asked Mr. Aubrey to resend the voice note again. I'm trying to find it again. You see. Life diversity. Imagine being told by diversity by people who actually hate the idea of diversity. These people are pushing for divisions within the country. So how can they be here and push for diversity when they literally push for divisions within the country? They're pushing for divisions within the country. They're pushing for divisions within the country. They are. They are. I can see another comment says by Asogane says that remember the arms deal was not only about Jacob Zuma. Charmaine says that remember Stompy, Mrs. Winnie and her soccer team that went around kicking people to death because they went against the African National Congress. Man, they don't talk about these stories, man. I've already told you that everything that is bad in this country that has been done by black people, man, we don't talk about these things. And I feel like me as a black person, the fact that we don't talk about these things, I feel like it's a disservice to us. I honestly, deep down in my heart, I feel like it's a disservice for us not to talk about the fact that there is tribalism within black people, for us not to talk about the fact that there is no diversity within Bafana, for us to be completely hooked by these people, man, telling us about the racial politics, telling us about which team to vote for, which team not to support, because this team is not black, this team does not have black players, and all of that nonsense, man. As an average South African, man, looking into this whole thing, man, I'm very frustrated when I see our politicians actually playing this kind of a game. But I know that politicians are only playing this game because they know that the people of South Africa are actually going to support them in playing this nasty game. So that's why the politicians are so comfortable playing this whole game, because they know that the people of South Africa, man, they actually don't want what is good for the country. The people of South Africa actually hate this country, man. I'm starting to think that the people of this country actually hate South Africa. They hate South Africa. There's no way anyone can convince me otherwise at this point. No one can convince me otherwise at this point, man. I've already said this before, that the people of this country, they don't want what is best for this country. If we really wanted what is best for this country, man, we would stop entertaining such nonsense. We would stop entertaining personalities like Penuel, Julius Malema, and all of these people telling South Africans not to celebrate the Springboks because for some reason they believe that the Springboks is racist and we cannot celebrate the Springboks because there's no diversity within the Springboks, man. These people are saying nothing about the fact that there's no diversity within Bafana Bafana. They say nothing about that. But we are here. We are here. We are playing this game. We are playing this game. I don't know when are we actually going to think is going to happen. I don't know what we actually think is going to happen. Honestly, I don't know what we think is going to happen with the country, man. I don't know what we think is going to happen. So guys, I'm going to continue reading your comments. I can see that many people are studying now. Julius Malema went back to really hating the Springboks to start starting to send their comments within the live chat. Really, guys.
Maybe decide you want to name them.
Thinking about these things that these people haven't actually done anything for our sport. Never mind rugby. Why?
Is what we have. Amadoda, which has been one of the names suggested for you, Bafana. Stop calling them boys. Call them Amadoda, so that they are men. Do you want to give them that? Nothing stops you. You look at the infiltration of Igwicho squad, which has added this Gwicho singing culture within rugby circles, which is beautiful, something that's celebrated largely in the Eastern Cape amongst the Xhosa people. Igwicho is being included, and no one is saying, oh, this is wrong, rugby is white and Afrikaans, stay out, this Gwicho must, no one. We're enjoying it. You see Siakoli is singing with the boys, with Obong Mbonambi, before they get on the field. That is how you transform things that you want to transform. It's beautiful. Siakoli speaks Xhosa in some of his interviews. We've got people like Motsidisi Mohono, who is an analyst, who is not a commentator, but an analyst. We had Kaunda Tunja, Makaya Jack. We've had these people toss a commentary. There is transformation. It's happening and it's beautiful. It's something really, really special. I think the EFF just used this opportunity for very cheap politicking. And if the Springboks had not won, if they were not a winning team, they wouldn't bother. You've got a black captain. You've got a black, almost vice captain in Mbongi Mbonambi. You've got amazing diversity in the team, not just at the Springbok level, but at all the unions. Why are you so angry, bro? And if you're going to speak about symbols of apartheid, why not dismantle the union buildings? Why not refuse to go into parliamentary buildings? Because they were also, those benches is where the apartheid government used to sit.
I like it when Penuel is like this. I will always like it when Penuel is like this, because I know Penuel is a very rational person, man. I don't know what happens with this guy sometimes, but I know that he's very rational. And when he starts asking these questions, man, I knew that, okay, this is the Penuel that we know. I don't know what happened with that Penuel who came and told the South Africans that you guys cannot ever support the Springboks because the Springboks are racist. The Springboks, the logos of the Springboks and everything that has to do with the Springboks is racist, man. I don't know where that Penuel came from. But this is the Penuel that we ordered. This is the Penuel that we all know and love. This is the Penuel that we know and love. And I love the fact that he actually managed to go back and say that, man, I cannot stand for this. I cannot afford this, man. You know that like in the history books, 20 years from now, man, children are going to learn that there was a personality on Twitter, man, because you know these things, these social media things are going to be big in a couple of years, man. They're going to tell you that, man, there was a personality on YouTube. This person came and said that, man, they cannot celebrate the Springboks because the Springboks are racist. They cannot celebrate the Springboks because the Springboks are not diverse. We don't know what was wrong with this person because for some reason he listened to people who actually hated the Springboks. The people who were talking bad about the Springboks were not being critical of the Springboks. They actually hated the Springboks. What I'm doing with black people and what these people were doing to the Springboks are two different things. Me, I'm very critical to black people, man. I will tell you that right now. I love black people. I love black people with all of my heart. That's why I'm so hard on black people. That's why I'm so harsh on black people, because I know that comforting each other and coddling each other around, man, it is not going to work until we start solving these problems, until we start talking about these things. It is not going to help us in any way, shape or form. So the best thing that we can do as black people in this country, man, is to start having conversation about these things and start saying, man, as black people, maybe the direction that we are taking, the direction that we are given by these politicians, it is not the direction that is in the best interest of us as black people in this country. I think that is the way that black people, man, need to start looking at the things. That's why I'm so hard and harsh on black people. Some people will tell you that, Thomas, man, we believe that you are a product of white monopoly capital. You know, guys, when I start getting the money from white monopoly capital, I'm going to sue all of you. I'm going to sue all of you guys who said that I'm the product of white monopoly capital. I'm going to sue all of you guys because I know that you don't have any evidence to suggest that I'm the product of white monopoly capital. I mean, the product of white monopoly capital are living comfortable. I wouldn't be here in the townships on the platform each and every day if I was getting the money from white monopoly capital. Man, me and my family would have been in Durban right now, in the beach or in Cape Town, somewhere, not here in the Free State, in the townships, giving you this content if I was the product of white monopoly capital. So you guys keep on saying that Thomas is the product of white monopoly capital. I'm going to sue all of you guys. I'm telling you, next year I'm coming with big money, man, big cash.
You're literally doing the Lord's work in my books, and I'm not super religious sort of guy. I'm an old chap. I'm a dad. I'm retired. I've got 2 daughters who are in high schools, doing well, and that's a blessing. But I care about this country for the same reason everyone does. This is our children's country. They're going to be here, and I'm talking over you while I can hear you in the background. But I wanted to feed back to you as much as I can, just to let you know that I can't be the only one. There must be many people who support and believe in what you're doing. It's really so important that we connect with one another because no one else is going to do it, and you're doing it, and thank you for doing that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Aubrey, for the voice note, man. Thank you so much. You know, the voice notes like these ones are the ones that actually keep me going. You know, guys, when you watch content, it is nice to actually watch content, but you know, when you do content, man, it actually takes a toll, especially on your mentality, man. You know, if you remember, few days back, I started posting on the platform, I think 2 days back. I think from there, going back 4 days or 5 days, I wasn't posting any platform. I wasn't posting, and I was never present on the platform. Why? Because I wanted to spend more time with my children, man. I wanted to spend more time with my woman. You know, as much as we live in the same house, but sometimes because I'm focusing and I'm giving this platform so much time, energy, and effort, man, sometimes I'm feeling like maybe I'm neglecting my children, maybe I'm neglecting my wife, my woman, because I'm focused so much on this platform, man. This is the reason why last week I took the whole week off. I didn't want to record, I didn't want to upload, I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to focus on my family because I know that as much as we live in the same house, man, I was starting to feel like I'm neglecting them, man. And I must say that notion, it is not so far off, because if there's one thing that I've realized in the time that I spent with my family, man, is that my children had missed me so much, my woman had missed me so much, and I was happy that I actually got the time to actually say that, okay, maybe I need to put the platform on the side and start focusing on my family, man. And I think, again, as a new content creator, this is one of the things that I really have to juggle with, balancing time, instead of balancing time of spending time with my family and still having time for the platform. So as a new content creator, this is one of the things that I'm still struggling. This is one of the things that I'm still juggling with. But I'm happy that I'm here. I'm happy to learn on the job. And I'm happy that I still got to make time for my family, man. So thank you so much, Mr. Aubrey, man. You know, voice notes are like those ones are the ones that are actually keeping us going, because as content creators, man, there's so much that we are doing. There's so much that we are digesting, and the fact that we can digest these things, and at the same time, we are trying to give people we are trying to give people what we think, and we are trying to be as reasonable as possible. But because you know this is politics, we talk about politics, you know that there are those people who will come out and start saying that, okay, stop doing that, you are doing nonsense, you are talking nonsense. But I appreciate those people too, because if it wasn't for the people who come on this platform each and every day to tell us that we are doing nonsense, the topics that we are talking about are nonsensical, man, if it wasn't for those people, the platform would not have actually progressed, because every comment counts, every reaction counts, whether you agree with what I say, whether you disagree with what I say. As a creator, the only thing that I appreciate is the fact that you are here. So to all of you guys, whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me, I appreciate the fact that you are here at the end of the day.
Why is it convenient for you to pick and choose? And why not take all this energy and emotion and go invest it in our football structures that desperately need it, with the corruption of ISAFA?
And guys, there's another comment I was hoping that I'm going to read. There's a comment that says, I'm glad I got you live, Lerato here in Harrismith in the Free State. We are in the Free State. Shout out to you, Lerato in Harrismith, man. I can see you, man. I can see you. Thank you so much, man, for joining us. I hope you hit that like button, and I hope that you've subscribed to the channel, guys. Please make sure that you hit that like button, guys. Hit the like button, so that people can actually find out our stream.
Go complain about ISAFA. And as Julius Malema be like, we demand that SAFA, we demand that the PSL transform like rugby. We want to see the beauty of the diversity. We want to bring the FIFA Football World Cup home. We want to celebrate our boys, and we will invest. And not only that, because the EFF claims to be non-racial, we encourage Rassi Erasmus. We encourage the leaders of the South African Rugby Union. We encourage Francois Pienaar and Varsity Cup and the success of even varsity football. We encourage them to sit around the table and say, guys, please help us build structures like Craven Week under 13, Gran Homo under 16, Craven Week under 18, SA schools. Please help us introduce football as a winning sport in the top rugby schools. Let the top rugby schools have rugby as well. Grey College in Bloem, Grey PE in Gqeberha, Glenwood in Durban, Pietermaritzburg College in PMB. I've already mentioned Kers and JP Boys. Schools like Paul Ruiz, schools like Paul Boys, Paul Gymnasium, schools like Bishops, Weinberg Boys, the Southbourne colleges, the Queens, the Dale, and all the other top rugby schools in the country, including, like I've said, mentioned some of the Afrikaans ones, Afis. I spoke about Monument, etc., etc. There are so many.
That is the thing. Penuel is someone who actually loves to suggest the solutions, man. Even sometimes people will not agree with what he says. Sometimes people would not agree with his suggestions, but people will always listen to Penuel and debate his suggestions. That's what I love about him, and that's what I love, guys. I want us to propose solutions for us to actually go to actually bring this country forward, man. We cannot live in a country where we are sitting here and complaining. The only thing that we are doing, man, we are complaining. We are talking about how bad this is. We are talking about how bad that is. Guys, we need to start actually proposing solutions for our country to actually move forward. So that's why I think what the EFF has actually done, especially with the Springboks, man, it was actually regressive. It was not helping the people of South Africa. It was not helping the sporting facility in South Africa, because since then, they haven't said anything about fixing rugby. If they think there's something to be fixed about rugby, they haven't said anything then, because this is how they are. They simply say things because these things are popular to say. They simply say things because people want them to say these things, but they don't actually care about the fact that these things are actually fixed, or these things are actually, you see, they don't care about that. They don't. That's why I came on this platform and I said, guys, we must not listen to politicians when they start telling us what to feel when the Springboks have won the World Cup, because these people, they don't care about the Springboks. They don't. Today, when you walk around in South Africa, when I go to town, every time when I go to town, I see people wearing the Springboks shirt. To me, that is still to me, that still shows that these people are still supporting the Springboks. It is not like the Springboks, man, and suddenly the Springboks. No, it is not like that. The people of South Africa, man, today, when you go everywhere, the people are still wearing. The Springboks jerseys. They're still wearing that. So it shows you that the people of this country, man, they support the Springboks. And if Bafana Bafana starts winning, the people of this country are going to support Bafana Bafana. We are not going to be here and listen to politicians telling South Africans that you should support the people who are actually a bunch of losers. These people are nothing but a bunch of losers. If we really have to be honest, Bafana Bafana are nothing but a bunch of losers. And for these people to come out and advocate for Bafana Bafana and not advocate for the Springboks, who have literally won the World Cup, man, it makes no sense to me. But this is how South Africans are like, because South Africans, they like to play this identity racial politics. They are easily fooled. They are easily frustrated. They are being told that, guys, you cannot celebrate the Springboks because the Springboks are racist and whatever. But they don't come with the solutions. That is the problem. People like Julius Malema, people like the EFF, when they talk, they don't come with solutions. The only thing they come with is criticism. We criticize. Me, what I love about this platform, and this platform, it's not perfect. Sometimes I say things that people do not agree with. It's fine, and I love it when people do not agree with me, because I would not love to come on this platform and to think that I know everything. I accept that some of the positions that I take are not the positions that are actually reality. Sometimes I know that I say things that people do not actually agree with, but at least I suggested something. At least we can debate from that, and at least the people can tell you that, Thomas, I know that I agree with you, but on this matter, I don't agree with you because of 1, 2, 3. That's how I learn as a young black man. That's how I learn. That's how I learn. We need to promote the culture in South Africa, especially among black people. We need to start promoting a culture of debate, a culture of sitting down and actually discussing what is happening in South Africa, instead of discussing politics the way politicians want us to discuss politicians. The politicians, you know, they know South Africans when they watch a parliament. The South Africans would watch parliament and they would say that, man, as an EFF supporter, there's no way I'm going to listen to anything that is being said by the ANC, man. As a DA supporter, there's no way I'm going to listen to anything that has been said by the African National Congress. But this is not how we should be like in our country, man. We should be able to sit down despite our differences. We should be able to sit down and say, guys, this is what is happening, and I think this is the solution. And if someone thinks my solution is flawed, they can come and say, Thomas, I know that you proposed this solution, but this solution is going to hurt us in 1, 2, 3, and I'm proposing this thing, and someone can encounter that. That is the only way we can learn as people in this country. That is the only way we can move forward as people in this country. But we cannot move forward debating and insulting each other, hailing each other with insult. When you look at someone, just because that someone has an ANC shirt, you've already concluded that I'm not going to say anything to this person. There's nothing I'm going to debate with this person, because the fact that this person is a supporter of the African National Congress, it means that that person is my enemy. Guys, we are not enemies. We are South Africans. We are not enemies. We must not allow politicians or political party to divide us, to actually think that we are enemies. We are not enemies. As people in this country, man, we need to be able to say that, guys, yes, we belong to different political parties. We have different values. We have different morals, but at least we can have a conversation. We must reach a stage where we can at least have a conversation about what is happening in the country. We cannot afford to treat each other like enemies. We are not enemies as the people of this country. We need to be able to sit down and have a dialogue about the issues that are facing this country. We need to promote this. We cannot continue, guys, promoting this whole thing of us hating each other, us having animosity towards us because we belong to different political parties. This is how we give these people power. This is how we give politicians power, because politicians know that my constituency, man, they will never listen to what these people are saying. My constituency, they will never listen to what these people are saying, man. I don't care how reasonable, I don't care how rational. They will never listen to those people, because they are my constituency and we belong to a certain political party. And as a certain political party, we only listen to ourselves. We don't listen to anyone else. We cannot promote that. As the people of this country, man, as the average people of this country, we are the ones living with each other each and every day. We meet each other each and every day. White people, black people, Indians, we meet each other each and every day. We need to be able to sit down and have conversations about what is happening in the country. We cannot allow ourselves to have a situation where black people are looking weird at white people looking weird at black people, and no one starting a conversation because we belong to the different races and because we belong to the different political parties. We cannot afford that. We cannot afford that. We need to be very careful. As people in this country, we need to be very careful. We need to promote conversations. We need to promote dialogue. We cannot go on and say that because my political leader said this is alpha and omega. I don't care who says what. This is alpha and omega. My political leader told me that I cannot listen to this person. My political leader told me that these people, whatever that these people are saying, it is not in beneficial of me, despite the rationality of what is being said. I refuse to be that ignorant, stupid black person who sits around and tell you that I'm not going to listen to anyone who says anything, no matter how rational what they say. I'm not going to be one of those black people. Man, I'm not going to be one of those black people. I'm willing to sit down with people who are different from me. I'm willing to discuss the issues that are facing South Africa with people who are different from me. I'm willing to hear the people's values I'm willing to hear what people live for and what are they willing to sacrifice for the betterment of the country. Right now, they know that people who listen on this platform, they know I've got a couple of things that I'm willing to sacrifice for the betterment of this platform, for the betterment of South Africa. I don't care. As a black man, I refuse to be an ignorant black man. I refuse. I refuse. I refuse to listen to politicians telling me that I cannot listen to anything. That is why today, when I'm studying Orania, when I study Orania with pride. I don't care who says what. I study Orania with pride, man. You can ask my woman. If my woman were to jump on the platform, man, my woman would tell you that, man, Thomas always watch Orania, man. I watch documentaries. I watch what is happening. I mean, I watch Orania, man. I read about the history of Orania, and I read about how these people actually value their own people. They value their own culture, and they value their own race. We don't do that. But instead, as black people, we look at Orania and say that, no, Orania should not exist because those people are racist. Those people should not exist in South Africa. Why can't we do what Orania is doing? No one is stopping us from actually building our own communities and saying that, man, if you come from outside of this community, we're going to need to vet you before you get into the community. I'm willing to live in that South Africa, man. I'm willing to live in a South Africa where I'm vetted before I enter a certain community, because I know the people of that community have worked so hard for their community to be safe, for their children to be safe, for their community to be clean, and for them to actually expect anyone to be registered or anything to enter the community. Man, I'm willing to live in that. As long as we have a country that actually loves each other, a country that loves itself, man, I'm willing to sacrifice some of these things. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to do that. Right now, people will tell you that, man, you cannot enter Orania. They cannot tell you, why do you want to enter Orania? I have no interest in entering Orania. We have content for years. I have no interest in learning Orania. Man, you have history about Orania. You have books. You have audio files. You have YouTube videos. You have documentaries. You have all of these things to study about Orania. Why would you want to enter Orania? What is it exactly that you want to do in Orania? What do you want to do in Orania? You are mad as a black person because they do not allow you in Orania. Why are you mad? Why are you mad? Why can't you build your own community to be good like Orania and start telling people that not everyone is welcome here? You will not do that. 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 I see another comment from Shameni says that tax is the biggest scam today. You pay tax on your own salary just to be taxed again. When you buy food, petrol, water, house, etc., we are paying to be slaves. The taxpayers of this country, man. Sometimes I sit back and I'm like, man, as the taxpayers of this country, man, when are they actually going to revolt and say, guys, enough is enough, man? These people are taxing us to death. The taxpayers of this country, man, they are overburdened, man. They are expected to pay for everything. You see all of these spoiled brats going to the universities, man, telling you that they want your money, whether you like it or not. They don't care about the fact that that NSFAS they are talking about is paid for by the taxpayers. They don't care about the fact that taxpayers, man, they are being taxed to death for them to have this education that they are taking for granted. They go to universities, they fail. After failing, they still demand to be paid for by taxpayers. And taxpayers are sitting back and doing nothing. Man, we really need to start having conversation about these people who go to universities and expect the taxpayers to pay for them. You go to university, taxpayers are paying for you. You get qualified. The job that you acquire, man, it has nothing to do with serving the people of this country. You do not even work for the people of this country for like a year or two and saying, guys, thank you so much for putting me through school. You don't say that, man. People go to universities, man. They take taxpayers' money in a form of NSFAS. They go to universities, and when they get to universities, they start learning, they start studying these crazy and insane modules. And when they get qualified, they work to live there and to become millionaires, man. They don't even work for the people, only for like a year or two, and say, guys, we need to, like, South African government needs to develop that, man, that if the government gives you money to study to university, man, you need to come back and work for the people for this certain time to say thank you. As much as you are going to pay back, but you need to pay you need to work for the people of this country for actually taking you through school. But that's not how it happens. That's not how it happens. Now you have these spoiled brats going to universities demanding your taxpayers. They demand your taxpayers as if they are entitled to your own taxpayer. They demand your taxpayer. They demand your taxpayer. They fail. They fail through universities, and now they demand taxpayer. They are going through matches, man. In 2024, you're about to see. 2024, man, politics is about to take over this country, man. Universities will not rest. Universities will not rest, man. I'm telling you.
Amazing rugby schools in the country. Incentivize them from a government space to be like, please invest in football, just as Francois Pienaar and Varsity Sports have done with football at varsity level, so that we can have Bafana Bafana, or we want to call them Amadota, our national soccer team Amadota. We want them to actually encapsulate the beauty of this country, and we want them to win, and we want the beauty of the diversity. Something similar that we had, you look at Siya Kolisi and the Springboks now, we had Neil Tovey, Clive Barker, and the Bafana Bafana of back then, or Helman Mkalele, or Philmon Masinga, or Sean Bartlett, or Mark Fish, or Eric Tinkler, or Andre Arense. Winning team that won CAF, Tour France. We were going to France, just like we won in France now. We were going to France back then. Oh, Benny McCarthy, Benny's in the 18 area with TKZ.
Yeah, thanks.
We love winning as a nation. It's a beautiful thing. It's one of
We love winning as a nation, man. For us to be told that we were not supporting Bafana Bafana, or we are not supporting Bafana Bafana, man, again, guys, that was an insult to the people of South Africa. For them to tell us that, guys, we are not supporting Bafana Bafana with the same vigor, man, that was an insult to the people of South Africa. If you really think about the kind of support that the people of South Africa has given to these people, the people of South Africa, man, supported Bafana Bafana. We supported Bafana Bafana during the World Cup, man. I remember, man, you could feel the ground shaking after Simpuye Chabalala scored that first goal during the Bafana Bafana encounter versus Uruguay. You could feel the ground shaking, man. South Africans were insane. South Africans were insane. For them to come and tell us that you guys are not supporting Bafana Bafana, it's an insult, because they wanted to promote this ideology that South Africans are not supporting Bafana Bafana, but they support the Springboks. It means that South Africans are siding with white people and they are not siding with black people. Man. Yo, guys, please, man, please, guys, continue sending the voice notes, continue sending the comments, guys. I love what we are doing here. I love what we are doing here.
One of the few places where we win. You look at the Proteas now. You look at what our hockey teams, the indoor hockey and the field hockey, men and women, what they're doing out there. It is sensational. But now cheap politicking is now wanting to ride that and be negative. When I spoke about the reason why I'm supporting the All Blacks, it was just to highlight my love and passion for rugby. And it was to give my view so that people don't out there one day be like, but why are you supporting the All Blacks when you're a Springbok fans? Like, no, dog. I actually prefer the All Blacks. And because they were meeting in the final, I don't want people to be confused about where I stand. I wanted the All Blacks to win, but similarly, I wanted the Springboks as my second favorite team to win as well.
But that is flawed, man. That is flawed. That is flawed, guys. I'm going to say that, whenever a World Cup plays, whenever the World Cup plays, you have your own favorite teams. Whenever the World Cup plays, you have your own favorite teams. You may like Brazil, you may like France, you may like Spain to win. But if you are a South African and Spain is going on a final against Bafana Bafana, you are supposed to support Bafana Bafana, not anyone else. You must support Bafana Bafana. I don't care if you say Spain is my favorite football club. I don't care if you say Spain is my favorite football players. I don't care. If Spain is going to play Bafana Bafana during the World Cup final, man, I'm going to support Bafana Bafana. I don't care about those guys. I don't care. I don't care. I love them. I love them. I can watch them all day. I can watch them playing for their different leagues. I can watch them. It's fine. But I'm not going to support them when they go against the Bafana Bafana. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And I feel like this is exactly why people were criticizing you so much, Penuel. I think this is exactly why people were criticizing you so much. Is because you came out and said that there is no spirit of patriotism in South Africa. When you literally told the people of this country that you supported the Springboks, you supported the All Blacks. So the people of this country, they could not make sense of that, of you coming out and saying that, man, I supported the All Blacks despite me being a South African. And coming out tomorrow to do a video to tell South Africans that they are not patriotic, to tell South Africans that they are being forced to celebrate the Springboks. I think this is the criticism. I think this is where the criticism lies, man. You can like the All Blacks, man. You can love the All Blacks. It's fine. It's fine. You can love the All Blacks. It's okay if you love the All Blacks. But you cannot openly support the All Blacks when they go against the Springboks, knowing the kind of influence you have, knowing very well that if you say that, man, it is going to cause an outrage, and people are going to say, man, you are not a patriot, man. You are actually not a patriot for South Africa. You are actually advocating for the opponents of us to win instead of us. How does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. How can you advocate for the people who are going against us to win? This is where the criticism came. This is where the criticism came.
But you get bashed and trolled, you're not patriotic, move to New Zealand.
And I have another comment from Maurice Spangenberg. Maurice Spangenberg says, was very disappointed when Penwell started talking such crap about not supporting the box. He plays it both ways. But Penwell is Penwell knew that the video actually hurt him. That video hurt him, and as a content creator, I knew that video actually hurt him. And he knew that, man, I cannot go on this road. I cannot go on and pretend like I didn't support the All Blacks. I didn't openly support the All Blacks going against the Springboks. I cannot do that. So it was very disappointing to see the Penwell actually being, but it's fine. I have my brother King Said So says we are listening. Leadership. Shout out to King Said So, man. King Said So is one of my favorite content creators. Please, guys, make sure that you follow King Said So. Please make sure that you follow King Said So. And when you follow King Said So, man, don't just follow him because you're going to disagree with what he says. It's fine if you disagree with a certain content creator, but follow them so that we can start this debate, guys. I know that the majority of the content that King Said So does is the content that is quite contrary to my content, but we don't hate each other with King Said So. What I love about my brother is that we don't hate each other. Despite us taking different positions on South African politics, we don't actually hate each other. We love each other. We talk often. We create content. Both of us, we create content, but we love each other. And this is the reason why I love King Said So much, is because we know that we're not going to allow politics to come between us. As much as we stand, maybe I might say on different positions, but we love each other as content creators. And again, guys, man, you know, I would actually wish for young people in this country, many young people in this country, to actually start their own channels so that we can promote more speech. You know, guys, the only way to fix wrong speech is by more speech. I would actually love it when more South Africans, more young South Africans can actually get into the space of content creating, so that we can start having this conversation, so that we can start having these dialogues, man. Instead of people coming onto the comment section to insult you, to do what? I always tell people that, man, you know that it's fine if you insult me. It's fine. I'm used to people insulting me. I'm used to that. But instead of you insulting me, man, why don't you just start your own political channel and express your views there? Maybe you might have people who can actually agree with you. Maybe you might have people who are gonna come into your platform and actually disagree with you, and by then you can start a dialogue. So I love it so much when young people in this country, man, start their own political channels, man. I know that I found King Said So on YouTube, but the love that we have towards each other, despite him being a strong EFF supporter, but despite me being despite me not following any political party, man, we actually get along very well. Shamin says, but Thomas, we all know in order to get good sponsors, the team must win and be good. Rugby supporters also pay a lot for tickets. I've heard about soccer stadiums that are in ruin. True. I think the only thing that can actually help Bafana is if these guys can actually win. South Africans want these people to win. That is the only thing that is actually going to help South Africans. They want Bafana to start winning. Despite all of this political rhetoric, man, the only thing that South Africans want from Bafana is to start winning. And you can see that the supporters of the Springboks, man, they really support the Springboks. They are really going hard for the Springboks. The supporters of the Springboks, man, they are going hard for these people. Why am I saying that? Because these people, like Charmaine said, these people are paying a lot of money for this ticket. They are supporting the Springboks, man. That's why I'm saying that South Africans have no problem supporting the Springboks. South Africans have no problem supporting the cricket team. South Africans have no problem supporting the soccer team, man. The only thing that you should do is to win. Just win and give people of this country national pride. Then you're going to see a lot of support. Just win. Just win. That is the only thing that we are asking from you. Just win. Just win. Lench says, having said that about Julius Malema and Springbok's victory at World Cup, it's surprising that Julius Malema is carrying colonial name Julius. The West we associate his name to the notorious dictator of all time. Yeah, man, I think Julius Malema should start going with a Sello Malema. Sello Malema. Be Sello Malema, man, because when you say that you are Julius Malema, how can you say that you hate white people, but you still go around with your name as a white person? Mr. Paul says, why do people get all emotional about any political party? The only question a voter must ask is, what are your plans to make South Africa a better country for all? Thank you so much. I don't know why people are so emotional when they talk about political party and politicians. I don't know. I don't know. You say one thing about John Steenhuisen, then people are all pressed. Man, how can you say this about our dear John Steenhuisen? You say this about Julius Malema, man, people are crying. How can you say this about Julius Malema? And I'm like, man, these guys are politicians, man. At the end of the day, these people, they don't care about you. John Steenhuisen will not defend you. Julius Malema will never defend you. The best thing for us to do is to be critical of these people so that we can elect the people who are actually equipped to run this country. We cannot afford to defend the people who are not even defending us. I don't know why people are so emotional with politics, man. I don't know. You know, sometimes I read the comments. I read your comments sometimes, and I'm looking at these comments, and I'm like, geez, these people are so emotional about politics, are so emotional about politicians. Why would people be so emotional about politicians, man? To me, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Why would anyone be so emotional about politicians, man? Politicians will never defend you. A politician will never come to your defense, man. I don't care what is happening with you. A politician will never come to your defense. So why are you emotional about politicians? Why do you hate it when you see content creators actually criticizing other political party, criticizing other politicians? Why do you hate it when you see people on Twitter talking nonsense about your favorite political party or your favorite political leader? That person will never defend you. I will never waste my time in defending any political party or any political leader. This is the reason why I tell people every day that I will never follow political party. I will never follow any politician, because I cannot bear the thought of actually sitting there each and every day defending political parties, defending politicians. Man, that is not my job. That is not my job, man. My only loyalty lies with the people of South Africa. I can tell you today. I can guarantee you today. My only loyalty lies with the people of South Africa, man. I don't care about people who are so invested in political party and politicians. I don't care about them. I am only invested in the lives of the people of this country. I don't care about politicians. And as far as I'm concerned, I want the politicians to be kicked out of South Africa. I want these people, man, not to have hold over our lives anymore, because the politicians have proven it for decades in this country that, man, there's nothing that they can offer for the people of South Africa. I don't care about political parties. I don't care about politicians, man. I will never feel bad if anyone says anything about someone whom I might vote for. I always tell people that, guys, man, I'm thinking of voting for Herman Mashaba. I'm thinking of voting for Musima Imani. But I will never say anything when someone comes out and says Musima Imani is irrelevant, Musima Imani is an idiot. I will never feel bad when someone comes out and says I hate Herman Mashaba because Herman Mashaba is a capitalist pig. I won't hate it when anyone says that. I won't. I am not invested in these people, man. I'm only interested in what these people are saying. I don't care about them personally. Personally, I don't care about them. I only care about the business of South Africa. This is not personal. This is business. This is the business of South Africa. The only loyalty that I have is towards the people of South Africa. That's why I always tell the people of this country that, guys, I always push for the people of this country to be self-sufficient. If we look at Orania, man, I'm going to talk about Orania this whole stream. If we look at Orania, man, Orania is Orania because it's self-sufficient. This is what I'm pushing for in the black communities. I'm pushing for the black people in this country to be self-sufficient. If we can be self-sufficient, man, we will not rely on politicians or political parties for nothing. We won't listen to these people coming to our neighborhoods and lying to us and telling us all sorts of things. Man, we won't listen to these people. We won't, because we know that we are self-sufficient, and we will have pride to say that if I vote for you, you better make sure that you deliver those services, because I know how to deliver those services myself. So if you don't deliver those services, I'm going to kick you out. This is the national pride. This is what I want for black people, man. I don't care about political parties. I don't care about politicians, man. People can come on this platform each and every day to tell me that, Thomas, you hate Julius Malema. You hate, man. I don't care. I don't give a damn about Julius Julius Malema. If Julius Malema gets out of the way and someone new becomes the leader of the EFF, then I'm no longer talking about Julius Malema. I'm talking about that guy. Because what we are fighting here, it is not Julius Malema personally. It is the ideas that are actually going to destroy this country. I don't care about Julius Malema as a person individually. I don't care about him. I don't. When people come on this platform each and every day telling you that, you always talk about Ramaphosa, I mean, how can you say this about Ramaphosa? I mean, I don't give a damn about Ramaphosa. I give a damn about whoever is the leader of the African National Congress, the same political party that is destroying South Africa. That is the only thing that I care about. I don't care about all of these people, I mean, personally. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. Honestly, Mr. Paul, I don't know why people are so emotionally, they're so emotionally invested into politics. And these people, I mean, we need to be critical of these people so that our country can move forward. We need to be critical of politicians so that our country can move forward. I mean, this is why I'm going to refer back to the politics of the United States. Everything these people do, man, they know that if you are a member of the member or you are a member of Congress, you know that in between the elections, the people of the United States are going to vote whether you are still a member of Senate of the or House of Representatives. The people of the United States are going to decide whether you are still a member of a Senate or the member of House of Representatives. It's because the people of the United States, they don't care about the personalities. They care about improving their own lives. That's why they don't. That's why they exercise this whole thing called the democracy so well. In South Africa, man, we don't exercise this thing called democracy so well. We don't. We've only had ANC, man. After apartheid, man, 30 years, man, the ANC have done everything in their power to convince the people of this country not to vote for them ever again. But guess what? The people of this country, they still continue to vote for the African National Congress. Then what do you know? What do you know? What do you know? What do you know?
That's lame. That's so lame. But this, what Julius Malema and the EFF are doing, is lame. Especially if they want to get into government. If you want more black players, if you want more black development, invest your money and your energy and your efforts there. But don't destroy a winning team that is doing so well and where the transformation is doing so great. South African rugby has managed to bring in more black and colored players while maintaining a high standard of winning. That's different now from our government. Our government has become transformed, but it has destroyed the nation. Eskom, Transnet, the SAPC. And now the EFF looks like they're like, put us in government, we want to destroy more. We want to have a South African team that is, a rugby team that is just black. We don't care if they get whipped. We don't care if they lose games. Who the hell cares? Transformation by all means, regardless.
But that transformation, like I said, man, I don't want to repeat myself. That transformation is really ironic when they don't push for the same transformation within Bafana Bafana. Man, this is the reason why I tell the people that, guys, these people simply want to destroy the country. They don't care about bettering the country. Because if all of these people that are talking about transformation, man, if we have to be honest, right now, if we were to put the cricket team, the Bafana Bafana and the Springboks is the most diverse national team we have. The Springboks is the most diverse national team we have. For these people to try to push for diversity in the most diverse national team we have, it makes no sense. They say nothing about Bafana Bafana. Nothing. Nothing. And the people of this country were easily fooled. They loved the Springboks for one day, and the second day they hated the Springboks. Makes no sense to me. I have another comment from Vu Simia says, the Springboks in the field of play are the best. Current, the Springboks are the World Cup. They have successfully defended the Webb Ellis Trophy. Why diversify this squad if it's winning? The squad is already diversified. Man, Vus, my brother, do not listen to these people, man. The squad is diversified. The squad is already diverse. Don't listen to people when they say that the squad is not diverse. I know you say that, why do you diverse the squad if it's winning? The squad is diverse. Look at Bafana Bafana. When you look at Bafana Bafana, do you honestly think that Bafana Bafana it's a diverse squad? It is not. It is not. The only squad, the only team that we should push diversity for right now is Bafana Bafana, not the Springboks. It's Bafana Bafana, not the Springboks. The Springboks is already diverse. I mean, like, the evidence is there. The evidence is there. You can see the evidence is there. Guys, I'm sorry, I've spilled a drink here. Jeez. The evidence is there. The Springboks is diverse. Just wipe here. The Springboks is diverse, man. The Springboks is the most diverse national team we have. Don't listen to politicians when they lie to you and tell you that the Springboks is not diverse, man. The Springboks is the most diverse national team we have. It's the most diverse, but because they know this kind of rhetoric actually riles up South Africans, so they know that South Africans are not even going to sit back and be like, no. South Africans are not going to sit back and be like, no. But if you actually look at the captain of the Springboks, he's a black man. Now, the people like Julius Malema and the EFF, they want you to believe that the Siyakolis being the captain of that white squad, it's him being a face of white monopoly capital. Diversity is there, right in their faces, but they don't want to talk about it. Paul says, well, hello, Thomas. Well done for your balanced discussion instead of tiptoeing, trying to be politically correct. 2024 is the year that South Africa vote wisely and brings our country back to its rainbow nation. Thank you so much, Mr. Paul, man, for saying that my discussions are well balanced instead of tiptoeing, trying to sound politically correct. I think, again, this is the reason why people hate political analysts so much. It's because political analysts in this country, man, have done a very huge disservice to the people of this country, man. Political analysts, they go on national television, man, and they start talking in these big bombastic words where no one actually understands what they are saying. They always talk about these big bombastic words. No one is actually trying. It's hearing what these people are saying. And the people of South Africa are sick and tired, man, of political parties or political analysts telling them like things like, oh yeah, we need to, like, they always talk about this. They always have this insane, what are these, we used to call them bombastic words. I don't even understand the political analysts when I watch television. And I will sit and watch TV and I will see that we have Professor Siposiete, and Professor Siposiete is going to tell us about what he thinks is happening in the African National Congress. Yeah, the diversity of the inclusions of the what. I mean, how the hell do you expect the average South Africans to hear what you say when you are here talking about all of this nonsense? How do you expect the average South Africans to actually hear what we are saying? I think this is one of the reasons why this platform has actually garnered more support, is because on this platform, man, at least we say it how it is. At least we say it how it is, man. The people of this platform, man, we don't have time to tiptoe around the issues. Even when the people, man, are suggesting the topics for me, they always tell me straight up. They don't come and say like, you need to be politically correct, man. I'm sick and tired of watching people on national television who sound politically correct. I don't want to listen to anyone who sounds politically correct. Saki Hamza says a level-headed dialogue. How do we get these messages to the masses, man? That is the one question that I'm still asking myself. And again, talking about this whole thing of how do we get these messages to the masses. Guys, if you know Katleho from Citizen Consent, we once had a brief discussion with Katleo from Citizen Consent. So I'm thinking that there's something that we're going to do. I don't want to discuss much, but I'm thinking that there's something that we're going to do with Katleo from Citizen Consent. Guys, so please make sure that you watch out for that. I think we're going to need some sort of help, but we are going to announce everything if we get to finalize everything. So shout out to Katleo. I know that she took a holiday. Shout out to Katleo. I hope that she comes back fired. I hope she comes back fired up, man. So I'm very excited because there's a huge possibility of me actually working with Katleo from Citizen Consent starting from next year. We are still running around with the ideas, trying to see what is happening. So shout out to Katleo from Citizen Consent. I'm hoping more content creators who actually want what is best for this country, more content creators, man. I hope that we can come together and actually do more than just being on YouTube and relaying these messages, man. One of the things that I said that the only way that people can take the power from the African National Congress is if people go to the grounds and take the fight from the African National Congress on the grassroots. So we can come on these platforms because every time I come on this platform and I talk with you guys, as much as I'm happy that you guys are watching the platform, as much as I'm happy that you guys are actually reacting to the platform, but I know that right now in South Africa, majority of the people in this country, they cannot afford the internet. So most of the things that we are talking about, I know that the message is not as out as I would like it to be, because the majority of the people in this country, man, they do not have the internet. They do not have the internet. They do not have the luxury of being on YouTube, of following different content creators, of actually learning more. Because you know that if people do not have the internet, you are as good as depriving them of actually education. Basically, by depriving people of the internet, you are depriving people of education, basically. And the fact that our government today, they haven't said anything, or they haven't done anything to actually improve this whole thing of people lacking the internet, I feel like it's very shameful, and it's a disgrace that in South Africa today, man, the majority of the people in this country do not have the internet, man. Many people in this country, we need the internet, and I think if many people can get access of the internet, that is the only way we can thrive. We can really thrive. So shout out to Katlego, man, from Citizens Consent, man. I really hope that we really work. You see. Let me see, another comment says that ANC said a party before the country. So here we are. Yeah, they said that. Do you remember when Jacob Zuma said that ANC is going to run the country until Jesus comes back? I guess.
And that's lame, and I don't support that. So I just wanted to share my views on that. I'm looking forward to some of your thoughts on Julius Malema and the EFF and their views on the Springboks. I'm really proud of the Springboks. My favorite Springbok, by the way, is Peter Steph du Toit, followed by Cheslin Colby. Amazing people. Andre Pollard is definitely up there as one of my favorite Boks. Lucanio Arm is definitely up there as one of my favorite Boks. We're so proud of the boys. We're so proud of what the boys have achieved. We're so proud of the examples that they are for us. Very big family men, very respectful. They avoid politics and they protect themselves. Tobani Bobo is one of the guys who taught me, protect the boys. This is one team, and they're showing us what South Africa could be. When I think of the Springboks, I think of Gift of the Givers and the beauty and the world-class way in which Gift of the Givers runs themselves as a non-profit organization, which is non-racial, which is diverse, which is all about service. We have so many other beautiful...
Anyway, guys, I know that Penuel is like, it's fine, Penuel. We know that you hated the Springboks when everything started, but now you love the Springboks. It's fine. I can see Mr. Aubrey says that, can we connect on Twitter? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you can connect on Twitter. You know, many people have actually came on this platform and said that, Thomas, why don't you take your content to Twitter, man? You know that, man, I watch international news. I know that what is happening between Elon Musk and the advertisers, man, so... I'm trying to be careful, man, with the whole Twitter thing, man. But I'm not on Twitter, Mr. Aubrey. I'm not on Twitter, but I'm thinking of having Twitter soon. But I actually don't like Twitter. Twitter is the only one platform that I don't like in South Africa, man, because I don't know why. There's one platform that I actually don't like on South Africa, but I'm actually thinking of having Twitter starting from January. I'm actually thinking of having Twitter on January. Yes, I am on Facebook. I am on Facebook. On Facebook is Thomas B. Mabaso. Thomas B. Mabaso. That is my name. On Facebook. Vuyo Mia says thanks for reading my message. Mtu Wambula say thank you so much, Mia, for sending you the message, man. I love it when people interact with me. It's been Germany says when one watches Anton Kuhn videos here on YouTube, then one sees the Mandela should have never been let free. But the Mandelas should have never been let free. Guys, I think I'm fine with this whole thing of the Penuel and the Springboks. The other thing that I want us to talk about today, guys, you know, in South Africa, man, South Africans are not really careful, man. You know, South Africans, man, South Africans are something else. South Africans are not careful. Because now I'm going to talk about Ismagashule, Kalnias, and Jacob Zuma actually deciding to step away from the African National Congress. You know that Ismagashule recently launched his own political party. You know that Isma Hashule is telling the people of this country that, man, I am the best guy to vote for, because the African National Congress has actually failed.
What distinguishes India?
Isma Hashule says because the African National Congress has already failed you. So he is the only person that is actually have what it takes
Is this magical
to
use of
fix the
spice?
problems of this country. So this whole thing, man, reminds me of Jacob Zuma, man. You know how gullible South Africans are. Guys, if we lived if we lived in a very sane country, people like Isma Hashule, people like Jacob Zuma, people like Kalnias, these people will never be given the chance to actually have their own political party and to still convince people that to vote for them instead of voting for the African National Congress. Man, you know, right now in South Africa, what really frustrates me a lot is that I look at Isma Hashule, I look at Kalnias, and I look at Jacob Zuma. And you look at South Africans, man. South Africans actually believe that Jacob Zuma is different from the African National Congress, man. Despite Jacob Zuma telling South Africans live on their faces that, guys, I am no different from the African National Congress. Jacob Zuma told South Africans that, guys, I am no different from the African National Congress. So what we started, what we concocted, me and my daughter, this whole MK nonsense thing, it is the African National Congress, because we believe that the African National Congress of Ramaphosa, it is no longer the African National Congress that we know that serves the people of South Africa. So right now, we are starting Umkhonto Wesizwe, and we are starting this political party with a name that with the same name of the ANC's, with the same name of ANC's military wing. And South Africans still think that there's nothing wrong with this thing, man. But I can tell you today that, you know, every time when I talk about Jacob Zuma, man, I always go back to the conspiracy theories, man. I go back to the conspiracy theories, man. Jacob Zuma has already made it clear to the people of this country that he wants nothing but the stability in this country. So by thinking that Jacob Zuma wants the stability in the country, I have to think further and say that, okay, if Jacob Zuma really wants the stability in the country, and Jacob Zuma has decided with his own friends, have decided that they are going to concoct this whole thing that is called MK party, then Jacob Zuma is not going to accept the elections in 2024, because Jacob Zuma wants the stability. Do you honestly think that Jacob Zuma is going to sit back and say that, okay, Ramaphosa, you've won the elections, it is fine? Jacob Zuma is not going to do that. And I've already told people about the possibility of collaboration between Jacob Zuma, Isma Hashule, and Julius Malema, man. I've already told South Africans that, man, if these people have decided to go under one umbrella, then we're going to see a lot of turmoil in the country in 2024. You've already heard the EFF saying that the elections in 2024 are not going to be fair. Why? Because some of the members from the SADU or some of these useless organizations are working with the IEC, and because these people are working with the IEC and these people are paid by the government, there is no way that our elections can be fair and can be fair. But guys, let's be honest right here. Let's be honest. Do you honestly think that South Africans elections are going to be fair in 2024? I honestly don't think that South Africans elections are going to be fair in 2024. Why? Because you remember Zimbabwe had their elections recently. And on that elections, so many things happened during the Zimbabwe elections. So many things happened during the Zimbabwe elections. And on that Zimbabwe elections, I remember the SADC mission team went to Zimbabwe to actually check if everything that was done in Zimbabwe was above board, because you know, or if you remember, that there were many reports coming out of Zimbabwe saying that the ZANU-PF is rigging the elections. We have military near the ballot papers. We have some of the polling stations are not open. We don't have the ballot papers, man. It was a mess in Zimbabwe. Then the SADC mission team went to Zimbabwe to actually check if the elections in Zimbabwe were above the board. And SADC mission team came back with a preliminary report that said that the elections in Zimbabwe are not they do not meet the threshold to actually be categorized as fair elections. The SADC mission team actually went to Zimbabwe to check if everything was above board. These people, they came out and said that the elections in Zimbabwe, they could not meet the threshold to be described as free elections. While the investigations were still continuing and going forward, the Zimbabwean dictator Robert Mnangagwa has decided to inaugurate himself. I must say that I was not surprised when Mnangagwa decided to inaugurate himself. I honestly was not surprised when Mnangagwa has decided to inaugurate himself, because I knew that Mnangagwa got to power by staging a military coup. So there is no way for me to actually think that Mnangagwa now suddenly believes in democratic processes. Mnangagwa does not believe in democratic processes, man. Do you remember how furious Zimbabweans were when Ramaphosa actually supported the ZANU-PF and Mnangagwa? Do you remember how furious Zimbabweans were by saying that, Ramaphosa, how can you support ZANU-PF and Mnangagwa, man? I remember I came on this platform and I was furious, saying that right now in South Africa, man, we have millions and millions and millions of Zimbabwean immigrants, and many of these people, they don't have the documents to be in this country. Many of these people, they are committing heinous crimes in South African land, and it is because the ANC supports ZANU-PF. And how can the ANC support ZANU-PF when they know what the ZANU-PF is doing to the people of South Africa? This is the reason why I said that the ANC maybe needs to step aside and not say anything when it comes to the Israel and Palestine war, because these people, they cannot tell me that they advocate for the rights of the people of Palestine, but they are failing to advocate for the rights of the people in Zimbabwe. I told them there is no need for the ANC to go around making all of these statements. You know that recently now South Africa has launched criminal investigations against Israel, and have actually charged and actually went to the International Criminal Court to charge Israel with genocide. These people are talking about the things that are happening far in Israel and Palestine. They say nothing about what is happening in Zimbabwe. When is South Africa going to file the charges against Zimbabwe for what these people have done to the people, to the average citizens of Zimbabwe? Right now, if you look, man, the average citizens of Zimbabwe are scattered all over the world, man. These people, man, they do not even have a pride or anything. They are treated like second-class citizens wherever they go. They are all over the world, man. These people are treated like second-class citizens. But you have the African National Congress and President Ramaphosa going there and actually supporting these people. They actually supported these people. So if you really think about it, man, it's insane for these people, man, to go and support the ZANU-PF after the SADC mission team has already told everyone that the elections in Zimbabwe, man, could not meet the threshold to be described as credible elections, man. They were told. Mnangagwa decided to inaugurate himself, man. Many African presidents said that, man, I'm not going to join Mnangagwa in that madness, man. Many African presidents said that I'm not attending that inauguration. That inauguration is nothing but a big joke. But guess what? Our president, President Ramaphosa, and his leg, Fikile Mbalula, they went to Zimbabwe to support Mnangagwa. Fikile Mbalula and Ramaphosa, they went to Zimbabwe to support Mnangagwa, despite Mnangagwa actually being accused of rigging the elections. I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, man, there's no need for you to even accuse Mnangagwa of rigging the elections. Mnangagwa got to power by staging a military coup. So how do you suddenly expect this person to now believe in democratic processes, man? Mnangagwa doesn't give a damn about democratic processes. Then South African president, man, and his secretary general, man, they supported Mnangagwa. They supported Mnangagwa. They supported Mnangagwa. And now we are going into the elections in 2024. And we have South Africans, man, completely living in oblivion, thinking that everything is going to go well, man. As an average South African, man, as someone who is actually wise and actually looking at these things, I'm like, geez, man, there's no way the elections in 2024 are going to be fair, credible, and fair. But there's no way. There's no way. There's no way. So do you guys actually think that the elections in South Africa are going to be fair? No, they are not going to be fair. And despite the elections and despite the elections being fair in 2024, man, I think the characters like Jacob Zuma and characters like Julius Malema have already demonstrated that, man, in 2024 we want nothing but chaos. There's no way, guys. I can tell you today, guys, you can clip this video here. Please clip this video here if you can, guys. I'm telling you today, the EFF and the MK party, they are not going to accept the election results. They are not going to accept the election results. For you guys to actually think that everything is going to go well, now it's fine, it's South Africa, everything is fine, Amandla, man, that's not how it's going to go in 2024. I see some weird things happening in South Africa in 2024, man. I see a possibility of a civil unrest. I see a possibility where Julius Malema is telling his supporters that, guys, there's no way the EFF can go from 10% maybe to 8%. Just imagine, man, can you imagine the scenario if the EFF goes from 10% to 8%? Can you sit back and imagine the scenario? Do you honestly think that Julius Malema is going to accept the election results if the EFF goes from 10% to 9% or to 7%? Do you think that EFF is going to accept that? Do you think Jacob Zuma is going to accept it if MK does not make it to parliament? Do you think that? We are headed to chaos in 2024. We are headed to chaos. I'm telling you, we are headed to chaos in 2024. And with all of these political parties, with all of these people that are very critical of the African National Congress, man, they're going to make everything harder for the African National Congress. You know, right now, the supporters of the EFF, they're calling for Isma Khashule to actually go and join the EFF with Kalnias. They're actually calling again for Isma Khashule, the supporters of the MK, to go and support Jacob Zuma in the MK party. So if you think these people are not actually talking about overturning the elections, then clearly you underestimate these people, man. 2024, it is going to be the most frustrating, it is going to be the most desperate election year for for South African politicians. And I don't think that South Africans, as average South Africans, I don't think they are ready for what is about to happen in 2024. I can tell you today, I can guarantee you today, Julius Malema is not going to accept the election results. He've already told you that the people that are working with IEC, we don't like them. Julius Malema has already told you that the people that are working with the IEC, we don't like them. So if you actually think that the people that are working with the IEC, and Julius Malema is already discrediting those people, man, if EFF does anything less than 10%, man, it's going to be chaos in this country. There's going to be chaos in this country. People like Isma Khashule, man, these people are very dangerous, man. You look at Isma Khashule, you look at Jacob Zuma. I don't really care about Kalnias, man. Kalnias does not have constituents. You look at Isma Khashule, you look at Jacob Zuma, man. Whether you like these people or not, because I think the other mistake that progressive South Africans are making is to think that the characters like Jacob Zuma, the characters like Isma Khashule, these people, they do not have support, man. These people, they have the support on the ground. These people, they actually have the support on the ground. I can tell you today that these people are the most dangerous characters for us going into 2024. If you think that South African elections is going to be fair, after the ANC have openly supported the ZANU-PF, the same ZANU-PF that was accused of rigging the elections, the same ZANU-PF that took power by a military coup when Mugabe was nothing but a vegetable there. South Africans, guys, I need you guys. I honestly need you guys to be awake. I need you guys to see these moves that are being made right in front of your faces, man. You remember, if you think about it, Mzwanele Manyi is a Jacob Zuma Foundation spokesperson. Mzwanele Manyi was in ATM. Mzwanele Manyi is a right-hand man of Jacob Zuma, man. He's the spokesperson of Jacob Zuma Foundation. This man was in the African Transformation for Movement. He left the ATM and now went to join the EFF. Kalnias, Jacob Zuma's biggest sidekick. He dropped his own political party, African Radical Economic Transformation Movement. He dropped his own political party to go and join the EFF. Then suddenly Jacob Zuma started his own political party. And people still think that everything is still normal. These people, man, have joined the EFF, and now Jacob Zuma is starting his own political party. The EFF and the MK, they want the same things. The EFF and the MK, they want the same things. So Julius Malema and Jacob Zuma. You know what is most dangerous about Julius Malema and Jacob Zuma? It is because the supporters of these people are actually active. The supporters of the EFF are active. You know, every time when Julius Malema says, guys, we need to go somewhere, the EFF supporters, man, will be there. Jacob Zuma, if he says, guys, we are going somewhere, the supporters of Jacob Zuma are going to go there. So if you think about it, man, if Jacob Zuma comes into collaboration with Julius Malema and these people decide for some reason that the South African elections are not fair, these people are going to come out and say, man, the ANC have rigged the elections. What do you think is going to happen in South Africa if Jacob Zuma teams up with Julius Malema and says that the elections are going to be rigged? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think that there's going to be stability, everything is going to be good? Man, there's going to be chaos. If these people, man, cannot accept the elections, man, and nothing can go forward. Nothing can go forward. And because Ramaphosa has already been accused of rigging the 2019 NASREC, you remember when Ramaphosa became the president of the ANC, many people came out and said that Ramaphosa stole that NASREC conference. Came out and said that. So right now, you also have the ANC members who don't believe that Ramaphosa is a legitimate ANC leader. So these people, man, ANC leaders, that the ANC cadres that actually hate the ANC, combining with the EFF leaders that actually believe that the elections are not going to be fair in 2019. You compare these people and you take these people and you combine these people with Jacob Zuma's MK. Man, if you think 2024 is going to be fair and it's going to be free and the elections are going to go there and we're going to be told that the African National Congress has won, the DA and the EFF and the IFP and what and everything gonna go back to normal. Man, I don't think everything's gonna go back to normal in 2024. I honestly don't think everything's gonna go back to normal in 2024.
Struggle inside the African National Congress for its soul. There have been contradictions over the years for the hegemony of progressive ideas within the ANC.
Just imagine, man, Ace Magashule sees himself as a progressive leader. He sees himself as someone. Ace Magashule sees himself as someone who is actually a progressive. Can you just imagine? Ace Magashule sees himself as a progressive leader. This guy actually believes that he's a progressive leader. He actually believes that deep down in his heart, he believes that he's a progressive leader. I don't know what the progressive means to these people. Maybe we have different kind of progressive, because you will hear most of these people going out and saying that the EFF is a progressive party, the MK is a progressive party. Man, how are you guys a progressive?
Sadly, we have seen the oldest organization moving fast towards the right and abandoning its center-left position. The struggle for the soul of the ANC has witnessed the systematic marginalization of forces to the left. Winnie Mandela was sidelined. Chris Hani was killed in cold blood. Julius Malema was expelled for demanding the return of the land. Jacob Zuma was hunted down like a dog for fighting white monopoly capital. A new cadre, ANC cadre, that is endorsed by the DA and neoliberal handlers has emerged. The sacrifices of our people who went to exile and those who died.
Man, you see, again, this is the reason why these people, I don't want them anywhere near the union buildings, man. You see these political leaders, man, who come out and start telling us about the Steve Bikos and telling us about this person, this Steve Biko, and start telling us about apartheid. Man, we are past that. We are past that, man. We need people who are actually going to give us the solutions into moving this country forward. Countries right now, as we speak, countries right now in the world, as we speak, they are making technological advances, man. Young people in those countries are making technological advances. Then you have the ANC with their friends, the EFF, telling you that everything that is wrong in South Africa, it is because of the West and white monopoly capital. I mean, you have these people telling you that everything that is wrong in South Africa is because of the West and white monopoly capital. I mean, and these people are telling us that, guys, we should move away from the likes of the United States. We should move away from the likes of the European Union, because we can be like China, we can be like Cuba, we can be like Russia. You sit back and you look at young people in China, and you look what young people are doing in China, and you look at what young people are doing in South Africa, and you have these people, man, telling you that South African young people can be like China, South African young people can be like Russia. Man, how honestly do you expect young people in this country to compete with other people all over the world when young people in this country, man, they are the 30% gang, 30% gang under Njimtser? They don't talk about these things. People like Julius Malema will come and be like, yeah, we can be like China. How do you expect the young people in this country to be like China, man? Do you honestly believe that the young people in this country, man, can compete with China? They can compete with the US. They can compete with the US. They can compete with the European Union. Do you honestly believe that young people in this country, they can compete with that? There's no way. There is no way young people in this country can compete with China, man. We cannot compete with China. We are not highly productive. We are drunkards and we are sitting at home. We are not making any technological advances. We don't want any discourse that has to do with the political parties. We don't want to talk about politics. We don't want to talk about anything that has to do with where the country is going. The young people in this country, the only thing they enjoy is to make TikTok dances and to dance and to dance and to make all of the silly trends. I mean, you go to Twitter today, you go to some of these social media platforms, man, you see what the young people in this country are actually occupied with. You see what the young people are actually interested in. Then you think those people can compete with China. Man, that is a joke. That is a joke. I'm sick and tired, man, of people coming on these platforms and telling us about this Honey, Steve Biko, Robert Sobukwe, and all of these names. Man, I don't care about all of these people, man. I don't care about all of these people, man. It's 2023, man. People all over the world, man, are making heavy technological advances, man. People all over the world, man, they're studying social media platforms. They're building new cars. They're building electric cars. They're building the airplanes. And in South Africa, man, we are still being told about Nelson Mandela, Robert Sobukwe. And why? Why are we still being told about all of these people, man, in South Africa today? We are told about Robert Sobukwe, Mangaliso Sobukwe, Chris Hani, and what we did in the apartheid, man. The only thing Ismail can offer to the people of South Africa is white monopoly capital and apartheid. The only thing that the EFF can offer to South Africa is white monopoly capital and apartheid. The only thing the ANC can offer to South Africa is white monopoly capital and apartheid. I don't know when will black people in this country actually understand that these people, there is nothing they can offer to black people, man. These people will not actually take this country move forward. You know, you think about these things and you're like, man, how many political parties do we have in parliament? We have so many political parties in parliament. And these people, man, these idiots, they're not saying anything about all of these network providers that are selling data in insane prices to South Africa. The fact that South Africans do not have the data today, one of the problems is because a lot of these service providers, man, the MTN, Vodacom, CLCs, and the telecoms, these people, man, they are selling data to South Africa very expensive. Very expensive. This is why today many of South Africans, man, cannot even afford data. I mean, people to go to Facebook, it's even like now Facebook has a free mode. At least the people who don't have the data can go to Facebook on the free mode. But the majority of the people in this country, they don't have the data. We have millions and millions of political parties in South Africa. These people, man, you have never even heard one political party talking about these service providers that are selling the data in South Africa with insane prices. You don't hear that. You don't hear that. You don't hear that. We need a whole reform, man. All of these people that are in parliament, they need to get the hell out of parliament. There's nothing they're doing for the people of South Africa, man. These people, they only enjoy the benefits of being in parliament. They enjoy flying around freely. They enjoy having all of sorts of benefits in South Africa, man. But they do not actually care about providing the services for South Africa, man. This is exactly what you get right now from Ismail Hashuli. The man is telling you about apartheid, he's telling you about Steve Biko, he's telling you about Chris Hani, man. There's nothing more that you're going to get from Ismail Hashuli. I can guarantee you today, there's nothing more that you're going to get from Ismail Hashuli. What you are getting right now is what you're going to get from Ismail Hashuli. The apartheid and this is exactly what you're going to get from Ismail Hashuli. Nothing more, nothing less.
In the apartheid gallows must never be in vain. Our people who fought for freedom in South Africa and outside South Africa must not, their struggles and their sacrifices must never be in vain. There are two objectives why this party is going to exist. One objective today we want to achieve is to announce a new organization. We're not joining any other party. I have engaged leaders of different political parties, especially progressive parties in South Africa, of the like-minded, the people who understand the aspirations of our people. As I've said, I've also informed the leaders of the African National Congress. Number two, our objective today, to all of you South Africans, wherever you are, in villages, in small towns, in cities, urban centers, in wards across the country, is to make a clarion call to all of you to find a new political home for the homeless, the betrayed, and the fatigued. We make a clarion call to academics, teachers, workers, nurses, doctors, our youth, students.
I find it very strange that these people, man, you know, these people have decided to go separate from the African National Congress. But if you really think about it, man, these people went out of the African National Congress to start the political parties that are similar with the African National Congress, the parties that have the same values as the African National Congress. Man, to me, it makes no sense, guys. I don't want to lie. To me, it makes no sense. This whole thing of these people actually starting all of these political parties, man, to me, it makes no sense. I don't want to lie. It makes no sense. They went out of the African National Congress to start the movements that are similar with the African National Congress. So it only shows you that these people, man, are okay with everything that the African National Congress is doing. They are just not happy with the fact that many people actually lost the benefit of the African National Congress. So they might as well start the structures that are going to operate similar with the African National Congress, man. But I can tell you guys today that if you actually think that the elections in South Africa in 2024 are going to be smooth, man, you are headed for a big ride. Personally, I already do not trust the African National Congress with providing us with a free and fair elections. I honestly swear to God, I do not expect the African National Congress to give us a free and fair elections. And again, I do not think that the parties like Julius Malema and parties like the EFF and the parties like this party of Isma Hashule, the African Congress for Transformation, MK party, I don't think these people are actually going to support. I don't think they are going to accept the elections results. So the ANC bought this whole thing to themselves, man. They bought this whole thing to themselves. I don't think the elections in South Africa are going to be fair in 2024. That's what I honestly think. I think ANC going to Zimbabwe to actually openly support ZANU-PF despite the reports from SADC mission team. I think that was a big red flag. And I honestly think that Julius Malema already telling his supporters that these people that are working with the IEC, man, these people are paid by the African National Congress. So there's no way that South Africans are actually going to get free and fair elections. So the EFF supporters are already being prompted to actually think that the elections in 2024, they're not going to be free. So that's why I'm telling you that if you think that the elections in Zimbabwe, in South Africa in 2024 are going to be free, then you are headed for a disaster. People like Jacob Zuma, man, Jacob Zuma has made it his mission to actually expose the African National Congress. If that is mission, man, if you watch this platform, you know that I have a conspiracy theory where I actually believe that the MK party was concocted by the African National Congress. Why? Because the African National Congress executive, they know the party is dying. The African National Congress members, they know the party is dying. So they might as well start a new stokvel while this ANC is dying. You see the ANC of Ramaphosa, when it goes down, you're going to see the ANC of Jacob Zuma rising up in parliament. So comrades, it looks like the comrades have actually made peace with the fact that they are going to lose the power at some day, but they do not want to make peace with the fact that they are going to lose their benefits. That's why they started this MK party. Man, until today, my conspiracy theory still stands. I might come out and say that, yeah, Jacob Zuma is giving ANC hell, Jacob Zuma is doing what? But you know that all of that is lies on the basis that the MK party was concocted by the African National Congress, and the fact that the ANC hasn't done anything to Jacob Zuma after what he has done, man. If you really think about it, people like Isma Hashule, people like Julius Malema were expelled for far less. But to think that Jacob Zuma is currently now going out all over the country, man, city to city, town to town, telling people not to vote for the ANC, but to vote for this MK party, man. I think the ANC is currently preparing itself to lose, because they know that, man, at least if we can get MK into parliament, we can start working on something. When this ANC is busy dying, the MK will be busy going up, because for some reason, South Africans have actually believed that there's difference between MK and the ANC, despite Jacob Zuma telling them that there's nothing different from the ANC and the MK. Right now, you have South Africans telling you that, nah, I'm voting for Zuma. I don't want to vote for Ramaphosa. These people, man, they do not actually understand that voting for Zuma or voting for Ramaphosa, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you are going to vote for the ANC. Whether you vote for Zuma or whether you vote for Ramaphosa, you're still going to vote for the same thing. Nina says that I think the issue of ancestors makes people keep voting for the ANC. Exactly. Aubrey says that was there an EFF in 1994? Of course it was. It wasn't. There was no EFF in 1994, but the way these people talk about apartheid, oppression, and discrimination, man, you would swear that the EFF leadership were also oppressed during apartheid, man. These people are... They're actually funny, man. Michael Lawson says that so long as you are all as poor as me, I will be happy. Not to brag, but I have made enough money to live comfortable till the end of this year. I've already read that comment of Mr. Paul. I've already read this comment of let me see. People are really sending their comments here, man. And Mr. Lawson says, guys, I'm off to lunch. Cheers. We'll see you next year and have a really good evening. Guys, honestly, man, I wish you guys to have an amazing 2024 night. I know that many people today, they will be celebrating with their families. Many people today will be celebrating with their loved ones. I wish you guys to celebrate, and I want you guys to be safe. I want you guys to come back on the platform in 2024. I want you guys to be safe. I want your families to be safe. I want your children to be safe. And guys, please make sure that you are safe. You do not gallivant, do not go around, because you know that South Africa, man, it is not a very safe place. So if you are with your family, if you are with your loved ones, if you are with your friends, please make sure that you sit tight and do not gallivant around, because today is one of those days where people are going to die. Many people are going to be killed today. I can already tell you, because many people will be gallivanting happy because we are entering 2024. But please do not make that mistake of actually gallivanting around and actually getting yourself hurt. I know that sometimes you cannot avoid some of these things, but we should try our all to avoid some of these things. I'm going to spend my whole day with my family, man. You know, my woman is here, my children are here, so there's no need for me to go all around. I'm fine where I am. I'm just gonna go to town quickly to buy some of those things, you know. I'm gonna go to town quickly to buy some stuff, but I'm going to spend my time with my family, man. I don't want to go anywhere. So I wish you guys to actually have a good evening and to actually come back on the platform in 2024, man. We are posting from today. From tomorrow, guys, we are posting. There's no way. We don't have any rest. Our country is going on a deadline. There's no way that I'm going to sit around and saying that I'm on the holidays and I cannot post and I don't know. Guys, we are back on work. We need to fix our country. We are going on the holidays, man. The politicians are not going on the holidays. You can go on the holidays, it's fine. But the politicians are not going to go on the holidays. So you need to always understand that you can go on the holidays, but the politicians are not going to go on the holidays. Always understand that these people are going to lie to you. They're going to lie to your family. They're going to lie to your friends. They are working every day. They are working so hard, making sure that you are voting for them in 2024, man. I was laughing with my friend the other day. I said that, man, when was the last time you saw politicians so active during the festive season? Man, you know, when festive season comes, we forget that we have politicians in the country, man. We honestly forget that we have politicians in the country. We forget that we have politicians in the country, because this time, man, is the time for these people to actually spend time with their family members, man, to spend the money that they stole from the people of this country, man. So guys, I'm really happy, man, that I got to spend 3 hours with you, man. It's been like 3 hours 20 minutes, guys. I'm so happy to have spent this time with you. I honestly wish you nothing but good luck. I want you guys to actually be safe, and as we go into 2024, guys, I want us to promote more dialogue. We're going to do more content. You're going to see, man, the content that I'm about to give you guys in 2024 is off the charts. So please make sure that you subscribe. Please make sure that you tell people to subscribe to the page. Please refer the page to other people. You know, as much as I don't want people to fully agree with me every time, I love it when people disagree with me, man. I think when people disagree with me, man, that is when I learn, because most of the people that come on this platform to actually disagree with me, they disagree with me and tell you that, Thomas, man, I disagree with you because of 1, 2, 3. I disagree with you because of 1, 2, 3. Not because I hate you, but because I believe this is how it's like. I believe this is how it should be done. And this is the reason why I disagree with you. So, guys, I really appreciate all of those people who actually disagree with me and actually have a dialogue with me. I do not even want to think that I'm the only right person on this platform, man. So, guys, please tell me what you think on the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button. And the most important part is subscribe. Guys, I wish you a very good night. I want you to be safe. I want your children to be safe. Let's meet here tomorrow on the 360 experience. We are dropping new content. It's the 1st of 2024 tomorrow. We are dropping first content. Please make sure that you are here. Guys, please tell me what you think on the comment section. Please don't forget to hit that like button. And the most important part, guys, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you in 2024. Bye-bye.